See it down here, Bill. It's beautiful.
That audio sucks. Hold on. Hang on. Give me 1 second. This might be loud. My left ear loves this. Alright, I'll be back in a little bit, guys.
Okay, the port restraint is out. Here comes the spin. Here it goes.
Yeah, we see it down here, Bill. It's beautiful.
Okay, Mike, we're at 52, coming back down to 51 RPM.
Roger, we copy. You guys look good. And Columbia, Houston, everyone down here is go for deploy with 2 minutes left over Hawaii.
And so is everyone up here.
Roger, we copy.
Mike, we hope the TV comes out. It doesn't play back very well on a monitor, but we're relatively sure we got it. And we, by the way, still have that beautiful satellite inside. It's traveling just below it.
Roger, we copy, Bill and Joe, and got a lot of happy people down here. You guys did good work.
Okay, Mike, we delivered. We got SBS off on time. And if you're interested, I'll read you the pad.
Roger, go ahead.
Deliver the crew of Shuttle Mission 5 did. Only 8 hours into the first operational flight of the Space Shuttle program. 5th flight of the orbiter Columbia. The first 4 missions were test flights to prove the space transportation system could provide access to low Earth orbit on a routine basis. Those missions laid the groundwork for the operational era. Shuttle Flight 5 was the beginning of that era. The primary purpose of the mission, to carry 2 communication satellites into orbit, deploy them from the payload bay, then return to Earth.
Columbia, Houston, 30 seconds till LOS, and everything is still go down here for deploy.
Roger, Brian, we copy that. Thank you very much. We're looking forward to having a good one.
Roger, and good luck.
Okay, Houston, this is Columbia. We are 2 for 2. We deliver. Hey, Roy, are we down now? That was, are we on the ground?
Absolutely.
A flawless landing. Only minutes after sunrise at Edwards Air Force Base, California, ended Columbia's 5th mission. Looking slightly weathered, the orbiter had traveled over 10.5 million miles in 5 flights, spent 24 days on orbit, and circled the Earth almost 400 times. It would now return to Kennedy Space Center, Florida for refurbishment, to be launched again on Shuttle Flight 9. The newest orbiter in NASA's fleet, Challenger, would fly on Shuttle Flight 6. Many weight-saving improvements had been made. The orbiter itself was almost 2,500 pounds lighter because of structural changes. The external tank weighed 10,000 pounds less than the one used on Shuttle Flight 1. The solid rocket boosters were almost 4,000 pounds lighter. The three main engines were upgraded to 104% of rated thrust. A blanket-like thermal material replaced 600 thermal tiles in non-critical areas. And all 30,000 tiles were densified to improve their durability. This stack could carry over 17,000 pounds more into orbit than Columbia.
Minus 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. We'll go for main engine ignition. 7, 6. We have main engine ignition. And liftoff. Liftoff of the Orbiter Challenger and the 6th flight of the Space Shuttle. The shuttle has cleared the tower.
Challenger's underway. We got a roll program.
Houston copies, Challenger. And some late news for you, Story. We got a go for deploy. We have a go for deploy.
On Shuttle Flight 6, Challenger's cargo, the Tracking and Data Relay Satellite, TDRS, and its solid propellant inertial upper stage rocket, the IUS, weighed almost 19 tons. TDRS was the largest, most advanced communication satellite launched to date,
That is correct.
a major accomplishment in space communications. TDRS is launched from the payload bay by ejection springs, released when explosive bolts are fired. After shuttle moves a safe distance away, the first stage of the IUS rocket fires to boost the satellite from 150 miles to 22,300 miles in altitude. Then the first stage separates. Shortly thereafter, the second stage of the IUS rocket fires to circularize the satellite's orbit. Solar panels and antennas are deployed to provide power and tracking and data relay capability. Having attained a circularized altitude of 22,300 miles and traveling at the same speed as the Earth's rotation, the satellite will remain fixed in orbit over the same location continuously. Later, the first TDRS will be joined by two more identical satellites. The three will form a space communications network, providing almost continuous coverage to Earth-orbiting spacecraft, not the 15% ground stations provide. The network will be able to track 26 Earth-orbiting spacecraft simultaneously. And because TDRS satellites only relay data, they do not process it, 20 times more information will be handled by this network than could be by ground stations. All data will be relayed directly to the primary NASA ground terminal, White Sands, New Mexico, and from there via domestic satellite to other NASA centers.
Hello there, we're with you over...
Launch of TDRS was on time and nominal. First stage firing of the inertial upper stage also went well.
And Sunnyvale and White Sands send you a special attaboy.
However, halfway through the second stage firing, ground controllers lost communication with the satellite. It was an hour before even intermittent signals were picked up. They indicated TDRS had not yet separated from the IUS, and that both were tumbling at a very high rate of speed. Receiving only intermittent signals from TDRS, using short-life batteries which would soon be depleted, and getting no response to signals sent from the ground, made the outlook for TDRS bleak. Several more hours passed, and then something remarkable happened. Experts still aren't sure why, but either an automatic timing mechanism was engaged, or onboard systems finally acknowledged repeated commands from the ground, separating TDRS from the IUS.
Well, I do have some words.
Now on its own, the satellite stopped tumbling.
Somewhat
Ground controllers commanded deployment of the solar array and antennas. However, they quickly learned TDRS was way off course and drifting farther every day. Their only hope of getting it back on course was to use the tiny hydrazine thrusters originally designed for minor attitude and velocity adjustments, not for boosting the 2.5-ton TDRS over 8,500 miles farther into space. But at least the satellite was not lost. NASA officials immediately put their plan into effect. Meanwhile, Shuttle Flight 6 continued as planned.
Okay, we're back with you, Milo, for about 12 more minutes. Got a good TV picture again.
Roger, Houston. Got the hatch closed, and we're waiting for a go for depress on time.
That sounds great, Bo.
Copy, we have a go for depress on time.
That's affirmative. You have a go. And Challenger, Houston's with you over Guam for about 7.5 minutes.
Roger, hatch is open. EV1 is halfway out. They're configuring the airlock, getting ready for Dawn to come out.
Okay, we're watching.
Houston, still have a suggested setting for the DAC camera now in the sunlight. Okay, Dawn.
This was America's first spacewalk in 9 years. The astronauts were attached by safety tethers to slide wires running just inside the payload bay. They wore a new design in spacesuits, also called extravehicular mobility units. A portable life support system was worn on the back, eliminating the need for a lifeline connected to the orbiter. These suits are not custom built for each astronaut. Tops and bottoms of different sizes can be mixed. They are also more flexible than previous spacesuits. The crew removed tools from a storage locker in the front part of the payload bay.
Hooked on the door here, Connie. You want me just to leave it there? That's the inner hatch. I think it's a fine place to leave it. All right, I shall.
Then moved aft again. Using a cable run through a winch mounted on the bulkhead, then tied to the cradle that had held the IUS, the astronauts demonstrated they could have lowered the cradle manually had commands from on board failed.
There is Velcro here over the outer hatch. That's what I'm going to do, sorry. Velcro in the inner hatch over there. I'm afraid I'll kick it loose.
Winch operations were tested on the front bulkhead using an Exergenie as a load to see how many pounds the winch and line could handle.
The back pocket. Okay, I'll try that.
Lastly, the tools were re-stowed, and the astronauts re-entered the spacecraft.
Indian Ocean for 2.5.
Perhaps the most visually spectacular mission since America's first landing on the moon, Shuttle Flight 7 gave us our first glimpse of the orbiter from a distance.
Another space first.
John, we have had one more of those intermittent dropouts, but the spas came right back up and no other problems.
Thank you.
The magnificent views were provided by a European payload called SPAS.
We switched over to a view looking at SPAS.
We copy?
Roger that.
SPAS is an acronym for Shuttle Pallet Satellite, a unique, reusable space platform built by the West German aerospace company Messerschmitt Balkov Blom, with generous financial assistance from the West German Federal Ministry of Research and Technology.
Best wishes to those folks from MBB who built this spacecraft. It's a
In addition to having American television and film cameras mounted on SPAS, 10 experiments belonging to the West German government, the European Space Agency, and NASA were on the platform. MBB wanted to validate the satellite's design and prove experiments could be operated while SPAS was free-flying. NASA wanted to show the remote manipulator system could handle the 2.5-ton payload.
And TJ, we just turned on the mass spec to warm it up. I assume that you wanted us to do that.
Affirmative, Sally. Thank you.
Okay, TJ, we're with you, and John performed a beautiful release.
Wonderful, wonderful.
The orbiter's ability to station keep with SPAs was also demonstrated. At this point, they are 1,000 feet apart. Here, SPAs and Challenger are 200 feet apart. Thrusters on board the orbiter were fired to record the effect on SPAs.
I could not get the SPAs right now.
SPAs was rebirthed for return to Earth.
They sure are nice. I've been told that some crews in the past have announced that we deliver. Well, from Flight 7, we pick up and deliver.
We certainly hope so.
The remark by Shuttle Flight 7's commander meant not only had the SPAs operation been successful, but that the crew also deployed 2 communication satellites. A Canadian satellite to be used for one of the world's first direct-to-home pay TV services, and an Indonesian satellite.
That's real pretty. That's my first view of it.
It would increase high-speed data transmission and telecommunication service to that country's remote island locations.
Roger, the weather at KSC is getting worse instead of getting better, so it looks like we're a no-go for KSC.
Shuttle Flight 7 was to be the first landing of an orbiter at Kennedy Space Center, Florida. But bad weather conditions did not allow it. Challenger would touch down instead at Edwards Air Force Base, California, the alternate landing site.
Roger.
During the period of communications blackout, usually lasting about 15 minutes, temperatures on the vehicle's surface reach their peak. The temperature of the red-hot glow seen through Challenger's front windows was about 2,400 degrees Fahrenheit. One astronaut described the view as like being inside a furnace.
Processing Western test range data.
Houston, Challenger, loud and clear. Nice and smooth all the way down.
Real good, Crip.
Been running about 5 to 7 tenths aileron trim on the right.
Roger, we see that.
I'll say once more, we're away to come to California.
Roger that. Challenger, Houston, rolling off the hack. Your energy looks good. Surface wind 180 at 10.
Houston, Challenger is liftoff.
Roger, we see that. Congratulations, a great looking landing.
Roger that.
Approximately 2 months after TDRS was first launched from Shuttle's cargo bay on Flight 6, the final firing needed to place the satellite in its correct orbit was executed.
Copy. Go ahead for the burns.
Personnel began immediately to check out communication systems on board and initiate a series of important ground tests with the satellite essential to its operation on upcoming shuttle flights.
Processing TDRS.
First use of TDRS with shuttle was on Mission 8.
Challenger, Houston with you on TDRS.
Houston, Challenger, loud and clear. How do you read the CDR?
Roger, loud and clear also.
Challenger, this is Houston with you through Hawaii for 7
Also
minutes.
conducted on Shuttle Flight 8 was checkout of the remote manipulator system and payload flight test article.
You're loud and clear to Dale, and looks like you're right on schedule.
The 8,500-pound structure was the heaviest object lifted by the arm to date, more than double the weight of any previous payload. Data gathered during the checkout was used to plan the Solar Max repair mission. On that flight, a 20,000-pound payload would be deployed, and an orbiting satellite would be retrieved.
At 0008.
We're ready to deploy.
That's good news.
Flight 8 marked the 6th successful launch of a satellite by shuttle.
40 up here.
It was an Indian communications satellite which would bring telecommunications, television, and badly needed weather information to remote areas of that country.
That Intersat was deployed on time.
Because Challenger was launched at night on Shuttle Flight 8, parts of the southern hemisphere never seen or photographed from space were visible during daylight hours. The first night landing for the Space Shuttle program occurred on Mission 8 with safe touchdown of Challenger at Edwards Air Force Base, California. After making its first voyage into space on Shuttle Flight 4, the Continuous Flow Electrophoresis System, CEPHAS, flew again on Shuttle Flights 6, 7, and 8. The device is a prototype of a production unit to purify material for the treatment of disease. It was built by McDonnell Douglas Corporation and flown on Shuttle as part of a joint agreement between NASA, McDonnell Douglas Corporation, and Ortho Pharmaceuticals Corporation, a subsidiary of Johnson & Johnson.
Challenger, Houston.
Combined results from Flight 6 and 7 demonstrated that CEPHAS could separate over 700 times more material, and in purities 4 times higher than could be achieved in Earth's gravity.
Go ahead.
Shuttle Flight 8 was the first use of CEPHAS to separate living cells. Some of the samples were separated to continue research at Pennsylvania State University and Johnson Space Center, Texas. The McDonnell Douglas samples were used to further diabetes research at Washington University Medical School, Missouri. Other scientific activity conducted on Shuttle Flights 5 through 8 also focused, as the CEPHAS had, on research and materials processing, greatly enhanced when performed in the weightlessness of space. The monodisperse latex reactor flown on Shuttle Flights 3 and 4 flew again on missions 6 and 7 in a continuing attempt to improve the production of polystyrene latex microspheres for cancer research and treatment and glaucoma research. 5 student experiments flew on the 4 shuttle flights as part of an annual science competition co-sponsored by NASA and the National Science Teachers Association. Studies ranged from fluid convection to sponge and crystal growth to biofeedback. A total of 23 getaway special canisters were flown on Shuttle Flights 5, 6, 7, and 8. Some contained stamped envelopes from the U.S. Post Office commemorating spaceflight. Others grew snow, exposed seeds to zero gravity, and studied the effects of weightlessness on a colony of ants. NASA's Getaway Special program is a unique opportunity to fly small, self-contained payloads on board shuttle on a space-available basis at a very low cost. Perhaps the studies with the most human interest were those done on space adaptation syndrome, also known as space motion sickness, a malady which affects approximately half of all astronauts. The most extensive studies of SAS were done on Flight 8, focusing primarily on the neurological system. Oral sensitivity was tested, eye movements, and repeated physical motion. Measurements were taken of limb volume and external tissue pressure. If any of these tests looked torturous, it's no wonder the crew dubbed the doctor's mid-deck working area a chamber of horrors, and mockingly gave him a taste of his own medicine. Astronaut crews got along exceedingly well with each other on missions 5, 6, 7, and 8. Yet they were the largest, most diverse crews in the history of spaceflight. Flight 5 carried the first 4-person crew. Flight 6, calling themselves the Over-the-Hill Gang, tallied up all their years of experience to get this grand total. Flight 7 carried the first 5-person crew, including the first American woman to fly in space, Sally Ride. Flight 8 included the first black American to fly in space, Guyanne Bluford. And the oldest person to fly in space to date, Dr. William Thornton. With ejection seats gone from the flight deck, and water storage tanks and instrumentation gone from the mid-deck, there was much more room to accommodate the larger crews. There was also opportunity for privacy, exercise, and as usual on any important trip, plenty of food.
The privacy thing was the toilet, by the way.
The success of Flights 5, 6,
Toilets
7,
by
and
the
8
front
represented
door.
many accomplishments for the Space Shuttle program. More importantly, the missions proved the operational capability of the space transportation system. That useful work can be done in space for the benefit of people on Earth. But the program has really just begun. Third orbiter in the shuttle fleet, Discovery, will be launched in 1984. The fourth orbiter, Atlantis, will be ready for use in 1985. New astronauts are being recruited. 73 shuttle flights are scheduled through 1988. The outlook for the future of America's space shuttle program is excellent, and there appears to be no end in sight.
Hi. Welcome to Space News. All right. I think there's some bad news. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think the fire's still in front of the plane, but I really wish somebody wouldn't just take like a quick shot of it. I want to go freaking all ham on this. Yeah, see, even Antonov is no. There was new footage from the ground of the 225, but you still can't really see it too well. Here, I'll show you. Here, I'll just show the whole footage. Well, it looks like some of that fire burned the front of the plane. The wing box is still intact. You can tell because the engine's hanging right there, and that would explain the tail as well. This footage is from a couple of days ago, guys, because the hangar is still on fire. The sat pictures that we saw didn't show any of this on fire or anything, unless there was another attack, but... yeah. Oh, the front fell off. Yeah, you can see the wing box right there. Yeah, I think, I don't know, man. It looks like the fire's still in front of it, because if you look at it relative to the hangar, but... yeah, that doesn't bode well right there. That looks like the nose cone. I mean, it looks like she might be okay. I mean, still salvageable. The wing box is still in one piece, but... yeah, it doesn't look good, guys. Yeah. And then on top of that, you have a bunch of sad Urals just sitting everywhere. See, can I have one? I'm just gonna take one. You think anybody will mind? You can do without. You can do without one. It's fine. Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't really bode well. It's a shame. Well, I mean, I was right. It still is on its landing gear, but I think the front fell off. The ones with the V and the X are free. I'll take your Ural. That's fine. I like those trucks. 225, Jim. 225. Ukraine committed to rebuilding it. They have the spare parts, Swishio. Honestly, the wings are what I'd be worried about, because those are the parts that aren't replaceable. The wings and the tail. Everything else you should be able to fix. You can buy Russian vehicles on eBay. Hotshot, I don't want to buy it. I don't want to buy it. I'll just take that one. You know, nobody's gonna mind. We'll just take it. I'll just take it. Now, how am I gonna get that like 5-ton truck back home? I don't know. I have no idea. Any Ukrainian friends? I mean, they seem to have a bunch on their hands, dude. I'm just saying. I like the trucks. I don't care where they come from. You know? What airfield is that? That's Hostomel. That's Antonov Airport. But see, Antonov tweeted this. No. Currently, the 225... until the 225 is inspected by experts, we cannot report on the technical condition of the aircraft. Please wait for the official announcement about the condition of it. The dream will never die. Never! Boat. Sounds like there was more fighting there today. Yeah. It seems like they kind of came back. Like, so I'm noticing that all the trucks that have white letters painted on them are invasion forces, so they wouldn't get confused. Like anything with a V, what is it, a V or a Z or an X or something? Those show different battalions of troops, if I'm understanding that right. Now, that means that this is all Russian stuff. And so, two things to kind of note, guys. Well, two things to note. These trucks weren't here in the satellite photos the other day. And it's very clear. See all the jet fuel? The residue from the jet fuel on the ground? See it right there? They did hit the fuel truck. But this looks like, you know, I said before, this looks like, you know, this looks like it was taken a couple of days ago. But now that I'm thinking about it, it really wasn't. Because you see the residual from the first explosion when they hit the fuel truck, like I was saying, right there. But there's all these other Urals there. And that one seems to be on fire, and there is another fuel vehicle right there, and there's a fire next to the fuel vehicle with really dark black smoke. See the dark smoke, orange flame? Yeah. fuel. That's fuel oil. Yeah, if this... It looks like the plane was okay. Now it's not. I'm pretty sure that's the front of the plane there. The nose cone is right there. Smirk said, unless there was more fighting at Hostomel Airport, I don't know. Another tweet with that video says it was taken a week ago. Yeah. So here, check this out. There's another thing here, a rough estimate of the airframe from what I can tell. Yeah. The nose cone isn't in the right spot from that video. And here I go. I'm gonna hit the hopium again. The nose cone isn't in the right spot. It's way too far forward. Look at it. Look at where the nose cone is compared to where the smoke is going up. That nose cone's at the front of the hangar, which is strange. I wonder if they like had the nose off of it or something. Or, I mean, maybe the front fell off. The V is Russian northern front? Yep. Yeah. I don't know. What are we talking about? The Antonov 225. Maybe they had it off for maintenance. Yeah, hope. You can hope. Yeah, it doesn't look ideal though. Hostomel Airport. 26th of February. Frick. Or it says 25 or 26th. Yeah. Okay. Not good. Yeah, that doesn't bode very well. Even me with all my hopium is pretty much gonna throw in the towel. At least we well, if you want to still be optimistic, it looks like the plane is relatively intact because the engine is still hanging. Once again, when a plane burns to the ground, stuff looks like this. There's just kind of parts strewn everywhere. But like I said, jet fuel residue. See it right there? They did hit the fuel truck. I was right. I'm pretty damn sure. See? How do I know it's jet fuel residue? I've spilled enough diesel fuel to know what that looks like. Yeah, it's definitely fuel. Pretty damn sure. But yeah, that doesn't bode very well, dudes. The Iranian tax office said, yes, you can have a URL. You don't have to pay taxes on your profit. Oh yeah? Oh yeah? Dude, the tractors. That's so funny, man. They just, yeah, you know what? You know what? I love how Nemetko, somebody in the Ukraine was just like, hey, wait a minute. All their stuff's out of fuel. What's stopping me from getting in my tractor with fuel and going and towing their damn tank away? What's stopping me from doing that? Guy number 2. Hey, I have a tractor too. Oh, we should do that. You know? What's stopping us from just going and taking their tanks? Well, they have guns. You gonna shoot a tractor? What do just do it when they're sleeping? Just take the damn thing. Look. What in the freaking hell? They just took the stupid thing. Just take it. Whatever. It's fine. What are they gonna say? No? John Deere, baby. Hell yeah. What are you gonna say? No? Like, I admire the tenacity, man. I really do. What are you gonna do? They're literally Redditing the Russian equipment. You made this? No. I made this. Is that a missile launcher? I don't know what that is. to be honest, I'm not really brushed up on my Russian armor. I recommend I recognize the T-72s, right? Those are definitely T-72 tanks. And I recognize the Urals, and I saw a couple of BMPs, but I don't. They have some other chassis, and it might be based off of a BMP. That's some anti-air missile thingamajigger that I don't know what it is. Radio location thing, probably. Yeah. Ukrainian hack John Deere is best John Deere. Is it a Tunguska? Yeah, I remember those things in Battlefield. Those things sucked. Freaking autocannons on it. Yeah, that's definitely a Tunguska. Yeah, okay. So, I mean, Tunguskas are all cool, all right? But, Tunguskas are all cool, but have I introduced you to our Lord and Savior, the M88 recovery vehicle? Like, Tunguskas are all fine and dandy, all right? But that is the coolest tank of all time. Do you know why? No, it doesn't have any guns, okay? You know why it doesn't have any guns? Because it has a frigging crane on it, okay? It has a crane, okay? It has a crane. Why have a gun when you can have a crane? The Ukrainian farmers would agree with me. Why have a gun when you could have a crane? It's basically nothing more than a target? Yeah, as if you wouldn't want one. Dude, I would want one of those things. Can somebody go on GovPlanet and see if those things are sold? Actually, you know what? Second thought. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's not a good idea. Because I may not like what I'll find if that's the case. It's an armored crane bulldozer. Yeah, it's basically a tank and a construction vehicle. Just combined into one. Yeah. See, M88s are awesome. You look at it's a crane. It's a freaking crane. That's amazing. Is that an M60? I don't know what chassis it's on. Too late, we're searching the auctions. Oh, frick. I want one. Where's the derrick? It's an A-frame, dude. You don't need a derrick. I mean, yeah, those Tunguskas are all fine and dandy, but they're no M88. That is the coolest tank. It takes two things that I really appreciate and combines them into one. Armored vehicles are cool. Cranes are cool. Armored crane vehicles are even cooler. Just saying. It's science, guys. Science. Well, it says on the Wikipedia page that it was 1961 through present, so it ain't on an Abrams chassis. The design of this vehicle was based on the chassis and parts of the automotive component of the M60 and the M48. Yep. So whoever called M48, you got it. I mean, that's nice. I like that. I'm not going to say that I don't like that. But that's cooler. Is the AN-225 good? Muerto. Muerte. Not muerto. Nah, Signer, we don't need to do that. Repairable or not? Yeah, I would say from that footage that I saw that the
Discovery,
225 is in a not fixable but scroungeable for spare parts to build another one condition. Hey, Spiffy, long time no see. How you doing? 8-month resub. Yeah, Revel, I don't know, man. Yeah, the cockpit, you saw it, the cockpit's fine. Yeah, I mean, it is. It's just on the ground, you know. Like I said, good parts. Look, I take parts off junk trucks all the time to fix mine. That's okay. Doing fantastic. Been traveling. Sorry for not being around. Hey, don't worry about it, man. It's okay. Hopefully your trips were good. Can you share the link of the AN225? Yeah, here. Yeah, fellas, it's not good. It's not great. That looks so. Here, yeah. Yeah, that doesn't look good. That looks like the nose cone on the ground. Yeah. Could be worse. I mean, yeah, the wing box is still intact, which means, guys, if the wings are okay, seriously, if the wings and the tail are all right, that's the non-replaceable stuff. Because honestly, inside of this hangar, now I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like this is okay either, but inside the hangar that's right here, that truck is burning inside of, they have a spare. There's spare parts. They were gonna build a second one, and they've been using the second one. Well, all the parts from the second one is parts for the real one. But it does look like the front fell off. Yeah. The GIF shows the wing detached. Oh my gosh, no fire foam. How do they live with themselves? Well, Doom, if there was some type of fire foam, I'm pretty sure it was set off the other day when they shot the fuel truck next to it. Because, look, Doom, check this out. I'll say it once, I'll say it again. Look at the ground. What does that look like? See all the residue? What does that look like to you? I want, in your expert opinion. See the char mark residue? What do you think that is? It looks like there was a spill of some type. Yeah, drummer, it's fine. Have a good night, though. You got it, Synerd. Fuel leak. I think any fire suppression system was let off when the fuel truck went off. It is what it is, bros. That's not looking good. I said we'd need a shot from this angle looking inside of the hangar, and no, Synerd, I said it looks like the Russians hit the fuel truck so they couldn't get the plane out. And yeah, I think the poop hit the fan from there. What Berner could have been from any time, not like they'll be using pig pads, yeah. Was this filmed by Russians or Ukrainians? I don't know. There's a lot of junk Russian equipment around. And when I say Russian equipment, I mean like stuff that's used by the Russians. See, the white marks are denoting their different invasion forces for IFF. Yeah, identify friend and foe. And there is a fuel truck right there, and it also seems to be on fire. I would not be standing next to this. Forgive my ignorance. Is that plane special in some way? Well, yeah. I'll give a little bit of a spiel. So that's an Antonov. That's an Antonov 225. It's a bigger version of an Antonov 124. It's the biggest plane in the world, or at least it was. Here's what it looks like. Here's what it looks like compared to like a semi-truck. It's a stretched Antonov 124 with 6 engines, bigger wings, and a very, very distinct tail. Now, the distinct twin rudder tail is for a very, very good reason. There's only one of them in existence. But the twin rudder tail is there for a very, very, very good reason. And the reason that it's there, SDX, well, the reason that it's there is that. That's what it was designed to do. Yeah. Copycats. Yeah. Can't find an M88, but how about this? Let me see. A VT-55? I mean, It'd probably be pretty hard to find parts for that, but I do like it. It'd be more like a C5 on capping, but yeah. The incomplete 225 is in the hangar across the tarmac from it. So, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and say that it's not boding very well, fellas. Yeah, footage that we saw doesn't... It looks like the 225 joined Buran finally. And, yeah, even me, I was willing to give it the benefit of the doubt, but, I mean, it's not like they could get in it and fly it out. I'm pretty sure it burned. It burned to the ground, or at least the front did. The back seems okay. That's fine. I mean, that's cool. Plenty of parts in Slovakia, Czechia, Poland. Yeah, no, it's an Antonov 124. There's a lot of those planes around. It's a bigger 124, so it's not like there's going to be a shortage of parts. We know there's a second fuselage, and we know that the nose cone is an Antonov 124. So, like I said, as long as the wings and the wing box is intact, yeah, they can rebuild it. They have another one. They have a spare. It's doable. It's doable. Yeah, it'll be all right. I mean, yeah. They can rebuild it. They have the technology. I just got back from doing a tour of Johnson Space Center. I got to see Dynetics and the national team mock-ups. Tour guide called the NT mock-up the Artemis lander. Yeah. In other news, it is, Tomas, yep. In other news, yeah, Elon keeps dunking on Dmitry pretty much every chance he gets, which is kind of, it's pretty funny, actually. Like, hey, King Kitten, what's up, dude? Let's see. Yeah, he pretty much keeps dunking on him every time. Here, let me find the thread. So Dmitry Rogozin basically said in an interview, he said in an interview with Reuters, I think. Dmitry Rogozin's the head of the Russian space program. He said, in a situation like this, we can't supply the United States with our world's best rocket engines. Let them fly on something else. They're broomsticks. I don't know. So, I guess that means that you, I guess that means they aren't gonna sell us engines anymore. All right. I prefer trampolines. To me, it's just sad to see a space agency that's been there since the birth of spaceflight die like this because your boss is... Yeah. It looks like Dmitry might be going down with him, man. Is anyone in the U.S. waiting on or intending purchasing engines? No. That's the funny part, dude. It's very interesting. He's like, no, you can't buy our engines anymore. Tory Bruno already bought all the engines that he needs for all the Atlas missions. He's had them for a long time, since last year. So we already have all the RD-180s over here, right? And also Antares, which also uses Russian engines, has all the engines for all the contracts for commercial resupply. So, I mean, I would say that Antares is more at risk here than Atlas. Atlas will be fine. They have all the engines for it. But here's the thing, fellas. Check this out. Part of the stipulation for us using the RD-180, part of the stipulation for that was us basically getting the blueprints and the manufacturing techniques for how to manufacture those things. So Aerojet Rocketdyne has the basically has the blueprints and the manufacturing techniques to make RD-180s if we needed more of them. So I mean, I always thought that was kind of funny because he's like, no, you can't have any more of our engines, and we literally have a clone sitting in Aerojet Rocketdyne's factory. Yeah, it's called the AR-1. Yep. They could put an AR-1 down there, sure, Synerd. Yeah, I mean, the plumbing might be a little different, but... Yeah, Firefly is looking into using the AR-1 on their next big rocket. So, yeah, I mean, alright. Like, if that's the way you're gonna be... It's a shame, Lig. It's a shame. But, yeah, I mean, there you go. There's an American-made RD-180. Really think we wouldn't be able to manufacture that? Like, all right. What about the tanks for Antares? Yeah, that's a little bit more of a complicated thing. So yeah, like I said, Antares is really not ideal. It's not an ideal situation. So you managed to steal that one too. You didn't steal nothing. We bought it. Differences. Canceling Omega now seems like it was a mistake. What I said at the time that was a bad idea. I said they should have phased out Antares for Omega and kept going with it. It would have brought the cost of SLS boosters down as well. But Northrop Grumman didn't see it that way. Oops. Like, hey, Pythos, what's going on? They didn't see it that way, so hey, it is what it is. You know what? I don't hate that, Druid. That's pretty cool. There's currently 2 complete Antares rockets at Wallops. That's enough to reach the next spring, given the current manifest. I'm sure they could space them out a bit more and have extra Dragon missions to fill the gap. Yeah, Ian, I'm not. Dude, look, this is not going to affect us in any way, shape, or form. It's a minor inconvenience at best. Rogozin's trying to save face, dude. Like, and look, you guys know, dude, it takes a real lot for me to... I show pretty good patience when it comes to this stuff. It takes a real lot for me to talk bad about somebody. There's few people that deserve it, you know. But Dimitri is quickly joining that list. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Great. We don't need you, guy. Like that's the honest truth. We could figure out ways to figure out the ISS, and get that all figured out. Like I'm not worried about that. Like NASA drew up contingency plans 20 years ago in the event that this happens. In the event that international cooperation breaks down, so they don't lose the space station. There's plenty of different ways to be able to do it. Starliner can boost the station. Dragon probably would have a hard time. Cygnus can boost the station. And Cygnus can launch on another launch vehicle. You could put Cygnus on Vulcan. You could put Cygnus on Falcon if you really wanted to. Like, I'm not worried. Like, and then with, Blue coming in with New Glenn could launch like 8 Cygnuses into space, dude. I'm not, like... It sucks. I didn't want to stop working with the Russians, but if they're going to be like that, it's not so much like, yeah, the sanctions suck, dude, but you could at least be a little bit classy about it instead of being a little bitch boy on Twitter about it and getting slam dunked on by Elon Musk every time you do it. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, wow, you're a bad person. Wow. Like I can't believe this, dude. I thought he would have taken the high road, and that's what he started to do. The first things he said about it were like, hey, let's keep working together. You need us for this. And now it's just like, no, screw you. I'm going to tape over your flag on my rocket. I'm like, yep, all right. Like, okay. With 3M products. Looks like kids fighting each other. Yeah. Tail run right? Yeah, it's pretty stupid, man. It's dumb that spaceflight has come to this, but hey, whatever. No skin off our nose, man. We'll be fine. I'm not worried. If that's the way it's gonna be, like, I was saying, I mean, up until even yesterday, I was saying give the guy the benefit of the doubt. He's kind of in a hard spot, but like, you know, he keeps saying, oh, there's a broomstick. You're gonna use a broomstick, bro. Dragon is better than Soyuz in every way, shape, and form. What are you talking about? Who are you trying to look good in front of? You're making yourself look stupid. Like, I don't understand. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong, I do, like, but, well, all right. If that's how it's gonna be, happy trails, man. Yeah, Galaxy, yeah, right. Apparently they like using 50-year-old tech everywhere. Yeah, you just want to ride on the Soviet Union's coattails the entire time. Yeah, go ahead, be my guest. Seems to be the MO. Please stop, my stomach hurts. Like, all right, get left behind, bro. Yeah, something like that. They use 60-year-old tech and 60-year-old mentality. I don't know. I don't know, Ian. They were coming around, dude. He's coming around, man. But yeah, exactly, Black Horse. Yeah, when the new generation of commercial rockets are gonna fly, I mean, Roscosmos would have gotten left in the dust, even had international cooperation gone down the toilet. But it is what it be, dude. It sucks. I don't want it to be this way, you know. But yeah, he just keep pouring that salt in, man. We're looking forward to the Falcon Broomstick Heavy launch. Yep, Broomstick Gang. What's up, 95? I don't know, dudes. Do you think the FAA is going to work fast for Starship because of this? I don't know, Alex. Maybe. I will tell you this, though. Anybody out there that thought that Starship, you know, wouldn't be useful for moving humanitarian supplies anywhere in the world within a couple of minutes? There's a lot of people that said, oh, that's a stupid idea. Doesn't look so stupid now, does it? So, yeah, I mean, I think we're trending in the right direction with that. Elon should put a broomstick on the next cargo dragon. That would be hilarious, man. Just, yeah, no, it's just... Is that part of the logic? Being friends, they were getting left behind. If they're not friends, they can steal designs. I guess, Aranor, I don't know. Big broomstick decal. Maybe, yeah, maybe we'll just tape over it, Ando. Like, really? That's what this has come down to? Taping over other countries' flags because you don't like them. Okay. And, fellas, I'll continue to keep you updated with, what's going on with the ISS, but, yeah, I think I've talked about Dmitry Rogozin enough. I don't need to report what's going on in Russia anymore. I'm not gonna do that. I'll tell you what's going on with the ISS, and that's about it. Yeah, this is pretty stupid. SLS won't fly before June. How about the Starship OFT? I don't know. I don't know, Switch. My guess is, knowing rocket science, they'll probably launch like in the same week or something. Knowing rocket science, and it's just purely by coincidence. Yeah, Mumanji, yeah. Yeah, exactly, Pigzig. I'm not, yeah, Muinji, I'm not sure. And now for something completely different. A mechanic chuckle. Nice. So, yeah, I mean...
Discovery, go at
guys, I don't really want to cover anything to do with that anymore. Like... The longer the review goes, the worse it looks. All right, then they launch from the Cape. Okay. Joe Simba, what's up, man? Hey, Jay, hope you're doing well. Thanks for a great 22 thus far. Yeah, no problem, dude. Oh yeah, one more thing. That's right. Here, this is the beginning of space news. Here, or not the beginning. We're kind of into it right now. But here, take a look-see. So, yeah. Yep, OneWeb's board suspended all launches from Baikonur, and it's funny because there's literally a Soyuz on the pad right now with satellites ready to go. It was scheduled to launch soon, but yeah, that's not happening. And once again, Roscosmos tried to make it seem like, well, we're in charge. We're not going to launch. We're not going to launch your satellites. And OneWeb said, no, you're not. Because you're not going to ever launch anything again for us. Bye-bye. I can't believe that I can't believe that this is happening, dude. It's not good. It's not a good thing. You never want international cooperation to break down like this, but if you're gonna act like children, you have no. If you're gonna act like a child, you have no business in space flight, you know. Hell of a timeline. Yeah, at least it's not boring, Visceral, right? At least it ain't boring. Yeah, so after OneWeb's board unanimously voted to suspend all launches on Russia's Soyuz rocket, the company is now looking at India, Japan, and the U.S. for alternative launchers. Hey guys, how about we launch OneWeb satellites on Falcon 9? You can't make that up. You know somebody at OneWeb was like, huh. And doesn't the AN-225 fly to the SLF to pick the OneWeb satellite? Antonov 124s. It's not the 225, Ian. I wish. Yeah, they're just Antonov 124s. How much food drink do they have on the ISS? Jedi, they plan a good ways out. They plan a good ways out. Elon might just be crazy enough to do that for competition, you know? Rideshare of Starlink and OneWeb. Vasya, there is a distinct possibility that might happen. It is a little bit remote. That's a little bit out there, dude, but there is a distinct possibility that might be a thing. I can see OneWeb signing a huge contract with ULA and Vulcan. ULA is launching Project Kuiper. Remember, Blue Origin bought like 9 launches on Atlas? They literally bought all the remaining Atlas 5s. Who could do it? India could probably do it. Israel could get it done with PSLV. Jackson. Hey, Marcel, 10 subs. Merci. Merci beaucoup. Thanks, man. Japan could get it done with the H2 and the H3. I mean, dude, that's a fat contract for OneWeb because it's long-term sustainability. That's a lot of launches, man. If I had to guess, it would probably be India, just because one of OneWeb's principal shareholders is from India. So it's like it's a joint venture between India and the UK right now. No, boring, nothing new. For the stupid me, what is OneWeb? It's a competing internet satellite service to compete with Starlink. Starlink is Ford, OneWeb is Chevy. Actually, that's not even a good analogy, Flecken. It would be like comparing Chevy to like Volvo. Not to bash the Swedes, but GM is a much bigger automotive manufacturer, and they own Saab, if I'm remembering right. So ipso facto, OneWeb satellites on Falcon 9. Yeah, Swishio, I don't know, man. Yeah, the launch market, guys, within the past week, the launch market dynamically shifted. We changed direction. This was one of those in terms of spaceflight history, dudes, people will look back on this moment and say that's when everything changed. Because I don't think people realize how much the demands for the launch market just shifted. Like hard. Like we were going this way and now whoop, we're going that way. I mean, OneWeb, that's a lot of launches, man. That's a lot of launches. Or they could launch like 2 to 4 satellites on dozens of small sat launchers in a bulk buy. Yeah, Ian, whoever gets that contract, man, is going to make a lot of money. Whatever launch provider gets that. Or they could buy a bunch of launches on Virgin Orbit. They could buy a bunch of launches on Electron, Neutron, maybe down the road, Firefly, ABL, any of these guys. Yeah, that's up for grabs, dude. That's a huge market share right there. Astra could do it. Yeah. Yeah, the Europeans could come in with Vega. Vega could do it. That's where you come in. I wish, man. I could see Falcon doing a OneWeb mission. As of now, OneWeb has a slightly different scope than Starlink, maritime and aviation versus residential. Yeah. Yeah. But Elon Musk hates Greg Wilder. And so, yeah, I mean, it's still unlikely. But also, Elon would be the kind of savage guy to launch his competition's satellites into space just because frick you. That seems like his attitude towards things very much lately. Frick you. I'm Elon Musk. Frick you. Frick you. I don't have time for you. Get out of here. Doesn't Vega use a Ukrainian engine? The Evam upper stage Wisp, yeah. Kind of ironic that Rocket Lab built a new launch pad at the right time. Yeah, wait, they already have a contract for several Virgin Orbit launches for satellite replacement. Yeah, that's right, Ian. You're right. I knew it sounded weird saying Virgin Orbit. There was a reason why that one popped into my head first. Yeah, people are gonna look back on this, dude. That's a big deal. The demand for the launch market just completely took a left turn. That's crazy. I didn't really think about it until now. Guys, we're talking like you don't understand. This is more like, don't get me wrong. We still have so far, like on paper, NASA and Roscosmos are still working together on the ISS. However, you have less redundant dissimilar architecture, which means we're going to launch more crew vehicles. We're going to need to launch more crew vehicles to the ISS with different architectures. You know what I mean? Because right now it's Soyuz and Dragon. And before it was the shuttle and Soyuz, right? And, you know, if stuff goes south and Soyuz goes the way of the Dodo on the ISS, then what? Then what? You going to use Dragon and Starliner? Suddenly, all those people that, I mean, that'll work. Maybe you need another one. Suddenly, all those people that said canceling Starliner is a good idea because Dragon can do it. Yeah, all those people look pretty stupid, don't you think? Where are those people right now? Funny, I don't see anybody like that in the chat. Interesting. Do you think OneWeb will survive this financially? They're propped up by governments, Laz. I think they'll be fine. The first real interesting test will be the next Progress capsule. What happens if Russia only sends up supplies for the cosmonauts? I don't think they'd do that. Dream Chaser? Yeah. Yeah, Crew Dream Chaser. Glad I never said to cancel Starliner. And guys, what do I always say? I've been saying this for years. The more rockets, the more ways we have to get into space, and more importantly, get people into space, the better. Ain't nobody here going to convince me that less rockets is better. That's just not true. And this is a pretty damn good example as to why. Yeah, it's nothing we didn't know. When is the first Dream Chaser launch scheduled? Next year. Boring, next year. Do you think Dimitri would... You didn't think Dimitri would turn out to be a shill either. I couldn't believe it, Hibbett. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. He put Rule 8 nonsense over the science, dude. And that's an automatic lose in my book. I hate people that do that. I hate people that play political football with NASA. I hate people that write articles about playing political football with NASA. That really pisses me off. I really don't like when people do that. Yeah. Yeah, that's an automatic L in my book. So have fun, dude. I hope you find some customers, because you ain't gonna have any customers for Soyuz anymore, except for science missions. This is Russia, though. His hands may have been tied. Yeah, Nighthound, I guess. Maybe. Yeah, that's true. Dude, even after all this, I'd still be willing to give the guy the benefit of the doubt, because we all know who his boss is, you know? Like, we all know who his boss is. Yeah, well, Tan, my argument was always that, you know, why would he take the position at Roscosmos unless he liked it? You know what I mean? And he showed time and time again that he was, you know, he was like, that's what blows my mind, dude. Up until about a week ago, he was always in favor of keep it cool. Keep it cool. Hey, we don't want to do anything stupid. Let's keep it cool. Look, you think I said this? That's not what I said. This is what I was trying to say. Like, he always kept it very cool. Now he's just, screw you, screw this, screw your flag, screw that, you broomsticks this, trampoline that. Bro, what is the matter with you? What are you doing? I don't know. It could be because of his boss. Could be because he's an asshole. I have no idea. Sorry, I'll take the time out. Okay. Yeah, Revel, it sucks, man. It sucks, dude. I like working with the Russians. I thought that was fun, but of course, nonsense screws that all up. Oh well. Western people have difficulty understanding the Russian spirit. Yeah, Juicy, I understand that. That's part of why I had people that speak Russian translate the articles for me, because, you know, what could get misconstrued about a language that has words that don't translate into English correctly? I'm sure nothing ever got misconstrued from that ever. Google Translate has never been wrong. Yeah, Revel. Like I said, that's why I always was willing to give the benefit of the doubt, dude, because I know there's a language barrier there. There's a huge language barrier with Russian. You know, Russian has so many different, like, proverbs in it, and different, like, it's like English, you know, has a lot of slang terms in it, you know what I mean? Like, don't write a check your butt can't cash, stuff like that. Russian has a lot of proverbs like that as well. But they always translate weird. It always translates to something like, don't undo your zipper in the summer. Like, it never translates right. Oh, okay, Tessa. Jesus. Okay. Interestingly enough, Rogozin also has a degree in journalism. Yeah, Passwell, right? So, like I said, I was willing to always give the guy the benefit of the doubt, and even now, you know, I wouldn't want to rule out that, you know, guy is making him be a dick about this. You know what I mean? Because, see, like, even at the beginning, dude, he was like, hey, let's chill out. And then the next day he was like, oh, no, never mind. I didn't mean that. Piss off. Like, so, yeah, it is what it is, dude. Anyway, let's see. What else do we got? Let's see. This is becoming for all mankind. Gross. Let me take a look. Let's see what else. quick question. Sure, Ian. Yeah, it's Einerd. Yeah, exactly. Is Rogozin tied to the current administration like Bill Nelson is to current? Okay. Yes. Finn, yeah, absolutely. Dmitry Rogozin and Vladimir Putin are part of the same political party, and they've been part of the same political party for like 20-something years.
Go at throttle up.
Yeah. It's a, like, dude, even trying to apply, like, Western political spectrum to like Russian political parties, it doesn't really work. It's somewhere like more towards authoritarian right, I guess. It's a nationalist party, like, from what I understand. Like, dude, I don't know too much about that. Like, I probably shouldn't even say anything, you know. So I know they know each other, and I know they're friends. So. Hey, crazy! Gifted a sub to Ian. So yeah, Ian, I'll check on your question in a second. So yeah, Finn. Long story short, yeah, he's real close. He's real close with the president. Maybe it was due to losing control over a spy satellite. Yeah, maybe. Ian, what's your question here? Ah, you dick. You dick. Ah, man. So messed up, dude. No, Ian, no, that is so not right. 8 minutes of 4K Ghost D launch footage if you want to change in topic. I mean, I'm not going to say no. But yeah, like I said, I don't really want to talk about what's going on with the Russian space program. But then again, you know, now that I'm really thinking about it, I might not have to, because it's not going to be much from here on out. So, let's watch some Ghost D footage from the other day. Ready? Whoop. Quick merch idea. Let me see. Yeah, I don't want to cash in on Rule 8 stuff like that.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6,
Discovery,
5,
go at throttle up.
4, 3, 2, 1. And liftoff. Liftoff of Noah's Ghost T, our newest weather
That's nice.
signal in the sky to help keep us
Yeah, I
safe
really
here
appreciate
on
what
the
you're
ground.
showing me right now. ULAPAOCX41.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Skadoosh!
And liftoff. Liftoff of Noah's Ghost T, our newest weather sentinel in the sky to help keep us safe here on the ground. The final seconds now. 10, 9, 8, 7,
A lot of different camera angles here.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And liftoff. Liftoff of Noah's Ghost T, our newest weather
What about
sentinel in
Ice
the
T?
sky
Nothing.
to help keep us safe here
Nice,
on the
Sebby.
ground.
I just woke up to the notification that you played Railroads Online anymore later.
5,
We'll play again
4,
tomorrow, dude.
3, 2, 1. And liftoff. Liftoff of Noah's Ghost T, our newest weather sentinel
shot.
in the sky to help keep us safe here on the
Oh,
ground.
that's nice.
Daryl, let's listen in as we listen to United Launch Alliance Rob.
Yours look good.
Who's the flight mission commentator.
View has gone to closed loop
I
control.
like that. Yeah. You getting into train simulators? Kind of.
The final
What's that,
seconds now.
Sushio?
10, 9, 8, 7,
Oh,
6,
how much?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh.
And liftoff.
No, this was
Liftoff
Slick
of
41,
Noah's
Gil.
Ghost T, our newest weather sentinel in the sky to help keep us safe here on the ground.
Daryl, let's listen in as we listen to United
Yeah,
Launch
I like
Alliance
that.
Rob.
Yours look
Yeah,
good.
I like what's going on here.
Mission commentator.
View has gone to closed loop control.
Dang, how many did they launch? They launched a lot. Look at the center engine throttle down.
The RD-180 is now throttling down as expected.
See?
Engine response looks good. We're now 33 seconds into flight. Atlas is 3 miles in altitude, 0.9 miles downrange distance.
Yeah. They don't call it the Dominator version of Atlas for no reason, man.
Dynamic pressure.
Throttle back those
Now 55 seconds into flight. Atlas is 7 miles in altitude, 4 miles downrange distance, traveling at 19.
Backed off the throttle to
Now
reduce
at
the stress
75
on the
seconds
rocket.
into flight. Atlas is 13 miles in altitude, 10 miles downrange distance, traveling at 2,700 miles per hour. Now at 90 seconds into flight, ULA's Atlas V rocket
Yeah, I
weighs
can
now
afford
just
that for
one
sure.
half of what it did at launch, burning propellant at a rate of more than 2,600 pounds per second.
Vulcan Heavy,
10
Kev, is
seconds,
going to be no
those
joke, dude.
Solid rocket motors on the side.
SRBs have burned out as expected, and we see a good SRB jettison.
Clear shot of those
Vehicle's now
SRBs.
executing closed loop steering.
Operations and Support Building
The
2.
final seconds now. 10,
This is from
9,
right by the
8,
VAB.
7, 6,
Discovery, go and throttle
5,
up.
No, not very long, Hibbit.
3, 2, 1.
Little Greasy Beck, 12-month reset.
Liftoff.
Thank you.
Liftoff of
Oh.
Noah's GOES T, our newest weather sentinel in the sky to help keep us safe here on the ground.
Daryl, let's listen in as we.
I don't know, Finn. This DOS is really, really
Look
good
good.
at what he does.
Flight mission commentator.
View has gone to closed loop control. The RD-180 is now throttling down as
There's the
expected.
KSC press site on the left.
We're now 33 seconds into flight.
Go,
Atlas
baby, go.
Is 3 miles in altitude, 0.9 miles downrange distance.
Execute for 8 seconds.
We have
There's the freight train noise.
Mach 1. Vehicle is now passing through max Q, maximum dynamic pressure.
Throttle back those
Now
RD-180.
55
I love that
seconds
noise.
into flight. Atlas is 7 miles in altitude, 4 miles downrange distance, traveling at 1,900 miles per hour.
Yeah, bro, and yeah, probably wouldn't do that.
RD-180 is now throttling back up.
It reminds me of a shuttle launch.
Come
Now
on,
at 90
just 2
seconds into flight, ULA's Atlas V rocket weighs now just one half of what it did at launch, burning propellant at a rate of more than 2,600 pounds per second.
What's the TWR?
In 10
Yes.
seconds, those solid rocket motors on the side will cut off. The final seconds now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
Right night? Yeah.
3, 2, 1. And liftoff.
Yeah, that's like
Liftoff of Noah's
1.3,
GOES T,
1.4
our newest
TWR.
weather sentinel in the sky to help keep
Yeah,
us
she's
safe
moving.
here on the ground.
Daryl, let's listen in as we.
Yep,
listen to
rockets,
United Launch
RB,
Alliance
yeah.
Rob
Those look good.
who's the flight
Rocket
mission
turbo pump could drain an
commentator.
View
Olympic
has gone to
swimming
closed
pool
loop
in,
control.
probably about 15 minutes. Drain an Olympic swimming pool. That's how much
RD-180 is now
fluid is
throttling
being
down
moved
as
through this
expected.
thing.
Engine response looks good. We're now 33 seconds into flight. Atlas is 3 miles in altitude.
There's
9
39A.
miles downrange distance.
The VAB is at the top of your screen.
Execute for 8 seconds.
And then 39B is over on the
Mach
right.
1. Vehicle is now passing through
There's
max
Kennedy
Q,
Space
maximum
Center on the
dynamic pressure.
left. KSCVC is over there on the...
Throttle back those RD-180.
Now 55 seconds into flight. Atlas is 7 miles in altitude, 4 miles downrange
Actually,
distance,
hold on a
traveling
second here.
at
Can I just back this up just a little bit, fellas?
9 miles downrange distance.
Roberts Road. There's SpaceX's new facility right there. You can see it.
Execute.
So there's Roberts Road. That means the solar panels right there. There's KSCVC right there. There's Blue Origin's factory right there. There's the south side right there.
throttle back those RD-180s.
Now, 55 seconds into flight. Atlas
Yep.
is 7 miles in altitude, 4 miles downrange distance, traveling at 1,900 miles per hour.
Dumb question, is it possible that the exhaust of an engine goes supersonic? No, not achievable with a combustion engine. You'd need a detonation engine. That's the difference between a detonation and combustion, Flacken. Detonation, the pressure wave moves faster than the speed of sound. Yeah. There are prototype rotating detonator engines because sustaining a detonation is really hard. This thing, yeah, it's combusting stuff. The only time the gases go supersonic is in the throat of a convergent-divergent rocket nozzle design. So basically, the throat of the nozzle.
Throttle to reduce
Now,
the
at
stress
75
of the
seconds
rocket.
into flight, Atlas is
Isn't it always supersonic? No. No. The shot cones come from the atmosphere pushing the gases back in on themselves. It's at the throat, Synerd.
13 miles in altitude, 10 miles downrange distance, traveling
At the throat, the gases are going past the speed of sound, but they always come out subsonic.
Throttle up.
Yeah.
Come
Now,
up
at 90
just
seconds into flight, ULA's Atlas
What happened to the
rocket
boosters at
is traveling
7:35?
off the throttle to reduce
Now,
the
at
stress
75
of the
seconds
rocket.
into flight, Atlas is 13 miles in altitude, 10 miles downrange distance, traveling at 2,700
Paint's
miles.
coming off just a little bit. It's melting. Yeah, Lament, that's a good eye. It's melting the paint. Yeah, that happens. Dude, it's the air pressure. The air pressure and the thermals and everything that's going on here, it's enough to just basically sandblast the paint off. It happens. That's normal. Good eye though. Good on you for spotting that. I'm more wondering what comes off the
Now, at
vehicle
90
here in a
seconds into
second.
flight, ULA's Atlas V rocket
Something
weighs now just
something
1/10
flies
of the
off
weight
and
it
goes over
wants,
here.
according to
I think
propellant
it's
at
just a
rate of
piece of
more than
ice, but I could be
100 pounds
wrong.
per second.
In 10 seconds, those solid rocket motors on the side.
Yeah, Lament, what's going on here is that there's a lot of air pressure on these boosters. Basically, you get airflow coming down off the top of the rocket, and these boosters shoot it off in a different direction. And that creates a really high amount of pressure on the front of these boosters, even up here where the rocket is right now. Yeah, really high amount of pressure. So air is getting compressed against this so much that it's flaking the paint. Does the core make it to the ocean intact, or does it pop on the way down? An Atlas core, it'd make it down.
Off.
Yeah, bro, Handy, I don't know. Something flies off the vehicle right before the SRBs separate.
SRBs have burned out as
missed it.
expected,
Bye-bye.
and we see a good SRB jettison.
Clear shot of those
Vehicle's now
SRBs.
executing closed loop steering.
Yep.
Here in a few seconds, they're going to throttle back up.
Vehicle performance looks good at this time. Now 135
Interesting, Bond.
seconds into flight. The RD-180 has throttled down slightly. Vehicle performance
Maybe
continues to look
hokey,
good
I don't
at this
know.
time. Tank pressures are stable, and Atlas booster battery voltages remain in their expected ranges.
Yeah, that was ice. That was ice that just came off there. I saw it.
System is now maintain a
Hang on.
We're now seeing the RD-180 throttle limiting to maintain a 2.5 G acceleration limit. Standing by for payload fairing jettison.
Yeah.
We've seen a successful payload fairing jettison.
FLR. There's the FLR.
Good shot of those fairings.
So that C-shaped thing, so the fairing came off, but if you look at the fairing here for a split second, check it out. You see how only the top part of the fairing has the blue insulative material on it? That's to prevent sound from harming the satellite. But see right below that, there's a little lip right there. Basically, that's where the forward load reactor attaches to. What does the forward load reactor do? Well, It attaches to the very top of the Centaur. Now, why? Why would you attach to the top of the Centaur? Well, because the Centaur is inside of the fairing. Why is the Centaur inside of the fairing? Centaurs are delicate, long story short. They're not really good at handling a lot of compression load. They can, but they're not really designed so much for that, especially not with the type of payloads that a rocket this big would be moving. So, the Centaur is actually attached to the rocket in two spots. It's attached to the bottom like it would normally be on a different version of Atlas V, but it's also attached via a forward load reactor at the top to help take the load. Basically, the fairing is propping up the stage. Yeah. Why? Why would you do that? Well, if you partially hang your stage inside of a fairing like this, if you're using something else to hold it up, that means you don't need to. You can make the stage lighter. Basically, you can make it out of smaller. You can make it out of lesser materials, and we know that Centaur is made out of small, lesser materials because it's a stainless steel balloon tanks. So, if you're ever wondering why you see that little C-shaped thing pop off right after the fairing,
A successful payload fairing jettison.
boop, watch.
Good shot.
That is a load reactor to hold up Centaur, like when it goes through max Q and stuff.
Those fairings.
Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, this was great footage. This was footage from Ghost T. Believe it or not, this launch was earlier this week, and this isn't even the most recent launch. A Starlink launched this morning.
Up now.
Crazy, right? That's some really good footage. Why not open the fairing later? They are opening the fairing later, Sun Temple. You know, because it's in space when they pop the fairing. From what the ULA stream said about the forward load reactor, they said it was mostly to keep the fairing separated from the Centaur. Is that a gross oversimplification? Synerd, you needn't look no further than the name. Forward load reactor. It's a reactor that takes load on the forward part of the upper stage. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of Atlas V's design is so refined that there's a lot of things that do multiple. There's a lot of things on Atlas V that do multiple things, right? Like the core stage, an Atlas CCB, an Atlas Common Core Booster, has 5 SRB attachment points on it every single time. Does that mean Atlas launches with 5 SRBs every time? No. But it has the same thrust structure every single time to be absolutely sure. So you have an infinitely configurable rocket. That was one of the genius designs of Atlas V. I mean, Atlas V is on another level. It's so well implemented. It's almost kind of like scary how good it is. But yeah, the forward load reactor. Engineers don't come up with crazy names for things, you know? Forward load reactor, it's right in the name. Yeah, you hang your second stage because that Centaur can't take the loads that an Atlas 551 would put on it. You saw how fast that thing got off the pad, am I right? Loads can come from many directions, though. Yeah, I know. That's why I just said that it probably has more than one use. Like, I just said that, like, 30 seconds ago. That's a good thing because it means they can swap out the entire core if something's wrong. Yeah, Atlas is a Lego kit, dude. It's a Lego kit. It's a very, very good rocket, man. Neutron will do this too, hanging the second stage. See? Yep. That way you don't, if you hang the second stage, it doesn't need to be structural, right? Smart. It's really, that's a really smart design by Neutron, Swishio, to be honest with you. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Is there anything else? Off topic, but you finished your VTOL F-35. All right, let's see what Sanchai did here. All right, let's see what Mama has to say on the subject. Yeah, you put contra rotators up there. I see what you did. Yeah, okay. Nice. Yeah, not bad. I may have fallen asleep. Did I miss a lot? Not really. That bad or what? No, it's very good. You did a good job. It's not easy to do. I like the contra rotators up front. Yeah, smart. That's a good Kerbal solution to a problem that doesn't exist in real life. But that's what I mean. Actually, that was a real dicky way to say that. The point that I'm trying to make is that we can't mimic aerodynamics exactly in Kerbal, so you have to come up with creative solutions to trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist in real life, because Kerbal doesn't have like ultra realistic aerodynamics. Sanchai, what I'm trying to say in plain English is that you did a good job. That was good. Yeah, you did good, man. I'm getting errors that I can't start up Railroads Online. Damn, I've literally played the game once. All right. Like, I'm not trying to be mean, man. What do you want me to do about this? I don't know what you want. I don't know what you want. What do you want me to say? Fix it. What do you want me to do, homie? Kerbal is a whole different discipline. That's right. You're a streamer. You know how to fix everything. Did you try setting it to Wombo? Jiggle the handle a bit. Could always try the classic signal condition electronics to auxiliary. Ecom, try SCE to auxiliary. SCE, what the hell is that? I think that he left. Something in chat about a deleted tweet with Ghost T. Yeah, there's a reason why it was deleted. Signerd, I don't know what to say. I'm not even going to repeat what it said. I'm looking around for something. Are y'all still playing Minecraft? Kyron, I play Minecraft every Saturday morning, dude. We have a chill Minecraft stream on the weekends. Yeah, fun times. Guys, I'm looking around. Honestly, there really is not much. Let me just... I'll look around. There's not much else other than the Rule 8 garbage that's going on. Here, this will cheer you up. I need to be cheered up. We had a rocket launch today. Oh, I like that. I like that. I like that. You know what, Hellfish? I didn't realize I needed cheering up until now. Oh, 625 horsepower, Boss 300. Oh, that's pretty pog. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Oh, that's really cool. Look at the trumpets, guys. Look at the trumpets. Look at the trumpets.
Trumpets. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, trumpets. Oh my god!
Trumpets! And then trumpets. Yeah, look at the connecting rod, man. That is a beefy freaking connecting rod, dude. Nice callback. Yeah. I may or may not be able to say that one of the things that inspired me to do educational streams on Twitch has a lot to do with that guy. Day 9 Daily, man. Oh yeah. That's part of the reason why I do what I do. Engine swap. I don't know what I'd put this in. That would be cool in 59. Let me read about it real quick. So this is coming off the drive by Peter Holderith. Let's see what we got. Pushrod VE8s dominated the American automotive performance scene in the late 20s. You can argue still do today. Hot rodders have been modifying and hopping them up for decades, but there's always been other options. With far less aftermarket support, inline sixes haven't historically gotten a lot of love in the US. However, that doesn't mean there aren't ambitious builders who've modified the pedestrian motors into some serious fire breathers. Let's see. The Boss 300, an amalgamation of parts and homebrew engineering that has its roots in the 1970s. The Boss 300 is a rare, non-OEM engine based on the tried-and-true Ford 4.9. Yeah, the Ford 300. It's one of the best engines ever devised by man. The 4.9 inline 6 with a gear-driven valve train was found in a ton of vehicles from Ford. This one, though, is unlike any other. What do you do to it? Designed by a drag racer and tinkerer named Sherman Slide, the Boss 300 is engine design gone mad. Bored out 70 thousandths to 310 cubic inches. With a laundry list of modifications, this pushrod naturally aspirated 5.1 inline 6 makes 625 horsepower. Yeah, that's ridiculous. One of these motors has been rebuilt by Ken Ellison, a popular engine builder with a large following. Yeah, I know that channel. According to him, it's around 1 of 50 built, and its secret sauce revealed itself as the rebuild process took place. Coronet because we can? No, this needs to be in the 59. Goalie, can you imagine the 59 with that thing under the hood, man? Oh, man, that would be excellent. Dude, it looks like it's got a... Okay, before I go any further, that's a 351 Cleveland valve cover. I'm wondering if some crazy melon farmer, the guy that made this, took a 351 Cleveland head, cut it, sectioned it, and put it on top of an inline 6. That's what that looks like right there. But I could be wrong. Let's see. I've heard stories of people cutting heads up and doing stuff like that. This does not have the stock head. It's a custom unit made by joining 6 separate segments from Boss 302 heads together. Okay, so it's not a Cleveland. It's a Windsor head. Okay. Apparently, the bore spacing is different, so the sections had to be individually cut up and welded and epoxied back together before finally being bolted onto the motor itself. On top of making a whole new head for the engine, the exhaust side of this new combination was further modified to increase flow, so it's ported. Most of the regular exhaust port area was milled away, and a plate with a raised port was installed in its place. With a clearer shot to the back of the valve, the exhaust flow was greatly increased. Basically, how big you make these ports on an engine is really pretty, I mean, amongst other things, one of the biggest things is making sure the engine can breathe. The more air you can move inside of it, the more fuel you can deliver, the more power you make. Instead of porting out the runners, they were partially filled in. Why do I wait to give my explanation right before they say the opposite of what I'm saying? Why would you fill in the runners? This, according to Ellison, is ordered to increase the air velocity down the port in an attempt to increase cylinder filling. Yeah. It's a Venturi. They're speeding the air up going into the valve. Okay. In addition to all the port work, the valves were changed as well. The intake and exhaust valves are both titanium. What the hell? Closed with the help of a triple nested valve springs? And the intake valve measures a massive 2.25 inches, and the exhaust comes in at an equally impressive 1.71. Holy crap. They're opened bizarrely by two-piece push rods that ride on roller lifters. Camshaft specs aren't mentioned. However, the valve train features lightweight aluminum rocker arms and stud girdles to help keep flexing under control. What does any of this mean? Okay. On a car, valve diameter. The bigger the valve diameter, the more you can get in. Straight up. That also has to do a lot with the camshaft, though. You could have a high valve diameter, but there's a lot of things that go into this. 2.25 inch valve is huge. That's really huge for an inline six. That's really big. And 1.71 exhaust is, yeah, that's big. Those are V8 valves basically, but they're on an inline six. Now that's a big valve for it. So if you, like I said, think about it. If the valve is bigger, when it opens, you can get more air into it. But that's not just that's only half the battle. How long is it open for? How far does it open? And what's the difference between when the intake and exhaust valves open? Like those are the three kind of variables that define camshaft, how camshaft works in an engine. There's lift duration and lobe separation angle. So you have big valves, and if they were running a cam, my guess is because it's an inline six, they're probably not running a lot of lift, but probably running a lot of duration and with a high lobe separation angle. Basically, the valves don't open very far, but they stay open for longer. So they're like, instead of like opening up and down like this, have a lot of lift, they're just like, they stay open for longer. They don't move very much. When you do that with the valves, if they stay open, you can flow more air in before the piston comes back up, and you compress the air and blow it up. Did it say the stroke? Well, it's a 300. The guy hasn't talked about the block. Let me keep going with it. Yeah, like see, there's the valve right there. That's a big valve for an inline six. What in the frick? A two-piece push rod. Yeah, there's your ports. See, they filled in some of the port right there. That's to get the air to accelerate. Literally the same kind of phenomenon that goes on inside of a rocket engine, the throat of a rocket engine, right? If you're flooding the intake plenum with air, when one of these pistons opens, it's going to create a huge vacuum. You want to get the air as fast as you can into the piston. And that's how I know that they would have a lot of duration on those valves, because if you're flowing a lot of air, you want the valve open for a long period of time to maximize the amount of vacuum force that's pulling the air in. And so they didn't bore them. They filled it back in. They filled it back in to accelerate the air into the valve. Yeah. The throat is at the valve, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, see? So it would be a tapered bore basically going into the intake like this. And basically where the air is going the fastest is right when it gets to the valve. Rarest, what's that? The Boston accent is ranked most annoying in the U.S. Okay. Rarest, why do you think I make it a thing to talk the way that I do? Imagine how distracting it would be if I talked like this the entire time. Don't you think that would be a little distracting? Oh yeah, look at that valve diameter there, guy. Isn't that great? 2.25 inches there. Look at that. They're using a two-piece push rod there, kid. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't talk like that on stream. I can't do it. Can't do it. There's a reason why I dropped that accent a long time ago on stream, because I don't feel like getting crap from people all the freaking time, dude. Do that and talk about the Patriots all day? Hey, Tom Brady's one of the best quarterbacks out there. He's one of the best quarterbacks ever. It sucks that he retired, because he could probably play till he's like 55 or something. accent? Harbor. Excuse me, Habe. Like Destin from Smarter Every Day, whose accent adjusts based on who he's talking to. Yeah, Bill, that definitely happens to me. I do not do it on purpose. I just, on the internet, it pays to have a very straightforward speaking voice. And don't get me wrong, I still do it from time to time. I'm not doing it on purpose. It just kind of happens. Is that pre or post deflating balls? Ah, that's funny. Yeah, typical other football team members, you know, trying to give Tom Brady crap. I think you're just mad because you haven't won anything ever. Yeah, you know, I'll sit over here with my 7 Super Bowl rings. Why don't you go deflate your balls somewhere else or something? I'm the guy who does his job. You must be the other guy. Wants to be a fly on the wall at a family gathering? No, you don't. You won't understand what people are saying, man. You won't understand what people are saying, dude. I'm playing it up. That's not how I talk in real life. I make sure to say things, pronounce things very correct on stream. Like that one time where I slipped and I said room instead of room. Oh yeah, it's in the other room. People are like, what's a room? I'm like, and people still give me crap for that. People still give me crap for that, man. When New Jersey comes out when I'm around family, I get it. Yeah, it happens. Yeah. It's over in the other room. Yep. Not relax the accent on a road trip? No, not really. Anyway, let's keep reading about this engine. In addition to all the port work, the valves were changed as well. The intake and exhaust valves are both titanium, closed with help from triple nested valve springs. The intake valve measures a massive 2.25 inches, and the exhaust comes in at an equally impressive 1.71. They're opened by bizarrely 2-piece push rods that ride on roller lifters. Yeah, that felt wrong. That felt very wrong. I'm not doing that anymore. Yeah, that felt very wrong. Yeah, I'm not doing that at all. Yeah, nope, not doing that on stream. Okay, roller lifters, yep. Roller lifters, dude. No, Mikey, no, that's so not right. Yeah, of course, Sebby. Duh. Alright. Camshaft specs aren't mentioned, however. Yeah, they gotta be running... Hellfish, what do you think? They gotta be running high duration. Oh. Damn it! High duration. I did not do that on purpose. I'm serious. I did not do that on purpose. Damn it. Stop it, brain. Don't do this to me. Yeah, goalie. It's something ridiculous. So they're working with a 4340 forged steel crankshaft with a 4-inch stroke connected up to a heavy-duty forged aluminum rod and forged aluminum pistons from JE. Oh man, now my brain won't stop. Okay, the bottom end is a 4340 forged steel crankshaft with 4-inch stroke. Wow, that's 4-inch stroke. That's ridiculous, man. Connected up to a heavy-duty forged aluminum rods and a forged aluminum piston from JE, enabling 13-to-1 compression. 13-to-1 in an inline 6. No wonder this thing makes 600 horse. Chat, you ruined it. Stop it. 13-to-1 compression, dude. I want to hear this motor, Spoon. I want to hear what this sounds like. This probably sounds like a pissed-off bee. The high compression pistons themselves are gas ported, meaning they feature tiny holes that are milled through the crown of the piston. Yep. Down behind the compression ring. On the compression and power strokes, the pressure within the combustion chamber flows through these tiny orifices, pushing the compression ring up against the cylinder wall and enabling better sealing. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. Yeah, that you need that when you're making 13-to-1 compression or you're going to get blow by. Is there a video link? I must see a link. 13-to-1 is high for an engine from the 70s, Spraz. And speaking of sealing wizardry, the block's deck is milled to accept round wire inserts around the combustion chamber. These inserts sit below the head gasket itself and also provide greater sealing when the whole ordeal gets torqued down. It's got a freaking O-ring in the head gasket, but the O-ring is made out of metal to be able to expand with the heat. Wow, that's some backyard wizardry, dude. Nobody does stuff like that. Not on an engine from the 70s. I know that modern engines have that. It's stamped into the head gasket. I know. This creation, more reminiscent of something cooked up by Frankenstein, is topped with a Enderly fuel injection, big intake trumpets, and then trumpets.
Trumpets! That's right,
right,
ladies and gentlemen, trumpets!
Okay. Screams high RPM. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, that's ridiculous. It uses blow-by to seal the ring. That's cool, man. That's some old school stuff right there. And then trumpets. Dude, look at the thick. Look at the thick. She thick, man. That's forged aluminum, dude. That thing is really strong. Yep. Heart-shaped combustion chamber. See that? Very high compression. You know Enderly was a customer of yours. That's cool, Racer. Dude, you see this, man? That's some like 70s backyard drag racing stuff going on here. That's cool. This guy the guy that built these engines, whoever put them in a car was competing in an inline 6 class. They probably shat on the competition. It probably wasn't even fair. Probably wasn't even fair, dude. Can you imagine one of these things in a Maverick or something? Or a Falcon? Holy crap. Dude, you'd be untouchable. That's a 10-second car. A Falcon with 600 horse. That's a 10-second car in the 70s. In the 70s, man. Okay. Oh, Alex, you're liking what you see? Yeah, dude, it's pretty cool. Yeah. Also. Bonjour, what's up, dude? Do we got any video of this thing?
Hey, I'm Ken Ellison from Ellison Machine Shop. You all know me? I'm your engine guy. Today, at long last, we get to reveal the final assembly on the mysterious radical race engine, the Boss 300, the 6-cylinder Ford with the Boss cylinder head, the 351 Cleveland style cylinder head that had been all...
It is a Clevo head! I was right!
Onto a 6-cylinder Ford engine. This is a world record holder back in 1970 in competition eliminator.
It is a Clevo. Hang on, I gotta back it up.
I love it. Under Ford engine. This is a world record holder cylinder head. The assembly on the mysterious radical race engine, the Boss 300, the 6-cylinder Ford with the Boss cylinder head, the 351 Cleveland styled cylinder head.
That's so cool!
All cut up and made to fit into a 6-cylinder Ford engine. Man. This is a world record holder back in 1970 in competition eliminator.
Dude, I was gonna say that's a Clevo valve cover.
This thing is so much fun. I apologize if you're having troubles. There's no way I can get the lighting right without the chrome blinding you from time to time.
I love it. That thing is so freaking cool. Somebody took a Clevo head and cut it in half and put it on that. That's awesome. Oh, that's so freaking cool. Dude, we had a shop, I'd do stuff like this. We'd probably break things, but I don't care. That's not supposed to come out in that direction. What is this? Oh, Chris. Yeah. Yep. That's a blown motor. Okay. He said he cut up a Clevo. That's all right. Blind me more, please. Is there any Come on, Keith. Dude, give us... Dude, I need to hear this thing. I bet you it sounds like an RB26, but more ridiculous. Oh, look at that. That's so weird, dude. How the frick did you make this? Mab, you seeing this? Someone needs to put one of these in an MX-5. You'd spin the wheels. Dude, that's too much. Actually, that's probably too much motor.
Just fill it up and fill it up until the air and the bubbles stop coming out of here, and then when the coolant starts to flow, you lock it off. There will be no air pockets in this engine.
Coolant bleed.
That's just another piece of something that's very simple to do, very, very
I can't believe that.
Engineering. Let me roll this around and get you a good
It's
look.
a stock iron block with forged crank. It's got a forged steel crank, forged aluminum connecting rod, and forged JE pistons, dude.
At the intake side.
That thing is so cool.
Now, is that cool or what?
Yes.
This looks like the fire cannon.
Yep.
Number 6.
Okay.
This thing is
Microphone.
so beautiful, and I get.
Is this an inline 6? How many trumpets do you see? You tell me, buddy. I bet she screams, Goalie. I bet you this thing sounds righteous up at like 5,000 RPM. Probably sounds ridiculous. It's an inline 6 with a V8 head that was cut. They took 2 V8 heads. They cut one of the cylinders off of one. They cut one of the cylinders off the other one, and then conjoined them, and put that on an inline 6. That's not easy to do, guys. That's not easy. That is a lot of mechanical engineering right there. Have you seen the Omega 1 engine? No, Raz, I haven't. Dude, that's so freaking cool. I'll link you guys to the YouTube video if you want to see more of that. That is some straight, like, aerospace engineering applied to old engines. That's cool. That's really neat. I redid the F-35. Does it look more like an F-35? It looked more like an F-35 anyway. 5,000 RPM? Come on, we need to go higher. Not with a 5-liter inline 6, Leroy. What are you, crazy? You shoot a rod out the side of the block. But then again, that does have reinforced rods. 10 seconds. Yeah, Buck, like I said, I saw what you said before. 9.2 seconds in the Eliminator class. Dude, I'm telling you. That in a Falcon is a 10-second car, and I'll bet you that's exactly what they did. 1970, competitors' Eliminator competition did a quarter mile in 9.2 seconds. Frick you, 9.2 seconds? From inline 6 in 1970, not naturally aspirated? Alright. Okay. I'll have you know I made my bed today. That's really cool, man. Really cool. Anyway, little bit of a car detour. How about we go see what's going on with Starship? Shall we? Shall we? Let's see. So can we build one for the truck? I've always thought a 4.9 build for the 59 would be the cool motor for it, Hellfish, because when you think of a truck from the 50s, you think like inline 6 is what it should have. That would be cool, man. I'd put that in the 59. That would be amazing. Can you link that article again? Hellfish, link up that article, please. Obama Envy. What's up, dude? You know about the BRM 1.5 liter V16 from the 50s? Those English engineers had some free time after World War II. Yeah. Yeah. Brits are good at stuff like that. Cheeky gits. No one would expect 600 horse. I'd be like, yep, 600 horse. And before you say, does it really sound like that? Yes, that's what the 4.9 sounds like. Here, would you like to hear? It sounds weird. Here, listen. Pretty cool, huh? Now that screeching noise is what you were hearing. That's the tire hitting the dyno. But dude, that's what it sounds like. It's a weird noise, man. You wouldn't expect that coming from an American car. The ID, yeah, exactly, Spraz. It sounds like a diesel. Here, let's see if we can find another one. There we go. That's the sound that those things make. That'd be cool, Kev. ID3 is an EV? Oh, I thought you were talking about an IDI diesel. Never mind. Told you, it sounds like that. It sounds like... Yeah, Alex, it's a 5-liter inline 6, man. Ford made those engines for a long time, dude. My truck, the 97, not mine. Mine has a 5.8-liter V8 in it. But the 97, you could get that with a 4.9 inline 6 in it. Yeah, they made those engines from like 1962 to like 97, dude. They made them for a long time. They were great for towing. Inline 6s are amazing for towing. That's why diesels are inline 6. Most diesels. I highly recommend listening to that V16, 600 horsepower, 12,000 RPM in the 50s. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a small Volkswagen, 200 horsepower, fun ride. It has a fake sound for pedestrians. Ugh. 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 Are those Aries aluminum rods? I don't know who made the rods. King. Those are Aries. Oh, I mean, Racer, do you see the girth that those connecting rods had, man? Forged aluminum, thick boy connecting rods. That thing, there wasn't even an eye shape. That connecting rod looked like a solid chunk of aluminum. It had some girth to it, man. Anyway, King, delete if Rule 8, but Russia is attacking a nuclear power plant in the Ukraine, and you're the only smart person I can think of to ask how likely that could cause Chernobyl 2. King, I have to know what nuclear power plant is it. I have to figure out what type of NPP it is before we can get that answer. More in-depth views? Oh, thanks, Checkered. That's cool, man. No, they're invading another one. I have to see what type of MPP it is. Zaporozhye. As a result of the shelling in Zaporozhye, a fire has started. The exact location of the fire is being... Oh, shit. Excuse me. Okay. Let's go. Zaporozhye power plant. Let's see. It depends on what type of nuclear power plant it is. So it's in Dnipro. All right. Let's see what we got. Plant is located in southeast Ukraine. It's a VVER pressurized light water nuclear reactor. Yeah, no. Low risk. Low risk. It's not an RBMK or anything like that. Yeah, okay. Vodovodianoi energetic reactor. Yeah, okay. It's a series of pressurized water reactors. The 1970s, Yeah, no, no, don't worry about it. Yeah, no, that's all right. These water or pressurized water reactors, very safe. Very safe because they suspend the whole fuel rod and the core assembly is basically submerged in water. Water's a great moderator for nuclear. Yeah, it's not like graphite tip fuel rod assemblies. Everyone and their mother knows what that's all about nowadays because of that stupid miniseries. Yeah, no, King, these pressurized water reactors have what's called a negative void coefficient. So basically, if you shut it off, it generates less power. Now, don't get me wrong. You're gonna have to moderate it. But once again, this is a Gen 3 reactor. These reactors basically overcome all the problems that those Gen 1 reactors had. An RBMK reactor, like what was at Chernobyl, is a very old reactor prototype. And even then, even the RBMK designs, I will still say this to this day. You know, everybody said like, oh, it's got a design flaw in it. I'm like, yeah. The design flaw is when some idiot removes all the safeties from the reactor and tries to do something different with it. Of course it's going to explode. Shocked Pikachu face. It's like if you launch a space shuttle in the cold. When the O-rings haven't been tested in the cold, something could go wrong. Nah, it's fine, right? Oops. Yeah, King, these type of reactors have, the biggest one, that, like, long story short, these are way safer. Now, don't get me wrong, nuclear reactors still need passive coolant loops. They need coolant loops. But this thing is next to the Dnieper River, so it's probably picking up water from the Dnieper River. So, yeah, it should be okay. Even when the reactor is quote unquote off, you still have to keep the heat energy down. You still have to keep the rate, like, okay. Basic nuclear physics, okay? Basic nuclear physics. So nuclear physics centers around this one thing. This thing is called neutron flux. So basically radioactive materials, they shoot out neutrons in all different directions. So like protons, electrons, neutrons, right? Radioactive materials basically eject neutrons out of them. When they eject neutrons out of them, they decay. They if you have an atom and you remove a neutron from it, it'll change. It changes. It becomes something else, right? That's what. Now, how long that takes to happen is called a half-life. That's where the name comes from. Radioactive half-life. Different radioactive isotopes, different combinations of protons, electrons, and neutrons can create different versions of different elements, and they decay over time, etc., etc. So a shorter half-life means that it fizzles out really quick. That means it has a lot of flux relatively fast, and then it goes away. It shoots out a lot of neutrons, kind of like a firecracker, and then it goes. Well, it doesn't pop. It's more like a sparkler. Now, okay, so what is neutron flux? When those neutrons get ejected from an atom, they go find another atom, and when they hit that atom, it's like playing pool. One hits another, and if you play pool and you have one, the white ball hits another ball, and that hits another ball, and that hits another ball, it's like that. Now, so how does what does that have to do? So how does that work with a nuclear reactor? Well, a nuclear reactor uses it moderates the neutron flux. That's all. The nuclear reactor generates more or less neutron flux. Now, why? Okay, so what does neutron flux do? So when a neutron hits another atom, it splits it because it knocks the neutrons out, like playing pool, right? Like if you hit one pool ball with another pool ball, they all go all over the place. Like if you hit the triangle of pool balls, like right if you break when you're playing pool, same idea. One neutron hits it, all the other neutrons scatter. Those neutrons go and find other atoms, and they scatter again. Now, that's splitting the atom. That's what they mean. Oh, the atom bomb. They split the atom. That's what that is. That's what neutron flux is. It's atoms splitting. Now, there's neutron flux, okay? Neutron flux is basically how much that happens in a given amount of time, okay? So higher neutron flux, more atoms being split. So, an atomic weapon, right, like an atom bomb, how topical, that is an unregulated neutron flux reaction. Basically, fire off as many neutrons as you possibly can all at once, and they do that by making a piece of fissile material go well beyond critical mass really quickly. It's like a flash bulb. Like a flash bulb on a camera. A lot of light gets... Not light in this case. A lot of neutrons get sent out all at once. Okay? So... that's the bomb version. How does a power plant work? Well, a power plant does that same thing, but it's unable to flash. There's no flasher. It just works like a light. You can't use a light as a flash bulb. It doesn't work that way. Just like a nuclear power plant can't go up in a nuclear blast unless you take all the safeties off of it and try to make it do that. Some dickhead happened to try that in April of 1986. Yeah, he tried to do that. Yeah, moron. Doesn't matter. Anyway, so King, here's how this works. So the whole fuel rod assembly is basically submerged in water. And you have radioactive control rods that are called fuel rods. It's radioactive material. And it's usually sitting inside of a lead casing, okay? Now, it could be lead, it could be graphite, whatever. Graphite is a great moderator for nuclear material. Now, once again, what's a moderator? Moderator inhibits neutron flux. It's like a resistor in electricity. It resists. It basically suppresses radioactive material because it bounces neutrons, okay? So basically, you have a piece of radioactive material and you have a piece of graphite here. Here's your radioactive material. It shoots out a neutron, it bounces off and goes back and does nothing. Okay, so that's what a moderator does. Graphite is really good at doing this. Water is really good at doing this. Now, particularly a special type of water. So there's a special type of water called deuterium. Deuterium it's called heavy water, basically. And that's really good at moderating nuclear reactors, okay? They learned that during the Manhattan Project. And the Germans, Heisenberg was trying to figure it out in World War II. And the US got wind of it. And then Albert Einstein wrote a letter to President Roosevelt, and Roosevelt started the Manhattan Project, etc., etc. That's because he saw that the Germans were looking for deuterium. Now, okay, with that all being said, this nuclear reactor with its control rods are usually in a graphite core. And now, once again, I don't know too much about that particular type of reactor, nor do I know a lot about nuclear physics. I know the basics to be able to explain it. So, what they do is they take the control rods and they regulate how much of surface area of that control rod is outside of the moderator. Pretty straightforward. More control rod gets exposed, more neutron flux, more energy gets generated. Because when an atom splits, it releases an amazing amount of heat energy for the size. It's ridiculous. Enough to make a nuclear blast, right? Not that power plants do that. Once again, remember, flash bulb versus regular light. So they pull the rods out of the core, okay? And when they pull them out, once again, this is all inside of water. The whole thing is usually submerged, especially in that type of reactor. That's a Gen 3, so it's a water pressure reactor. So I did it. Water pressure reactor. So when they pull it out, basically it heats up water. It heats up the water, and the water gets turned to steam, right? And that steam turns an electrical turbine. Now, it's important to note that nuclear power plants have two principal gauges for gauging how much power it's making, okay? There's two types of energy being made here. Remember that. You have your heat energy that is made from neutron flux, and then you have your electrical energy, which is the one that we kind of need. That's the whole purpose of it, to make electricity, right? Now, you don't want that much of a differential between the heat energy being generated and your electrical energy being generated. But thermodynamics is a pain in the butt, so they're never going to be exact, because you never get in what you put out, even with radioactive materials. Even when you use radioactive materials and moderate the neutron flux to heat up water, etc., etc. So, how does that have to do with whether that reactor is going to be safe or not? Well, when they shut a nuclear reactor down, when it's not generating power, they basically take all the control rods and they hammer them into the graphite assembly, right? They retract the control rods, okay? Now, that means the nuclear reactor is more or less pretty damn safe. Yeah, that's what I mean, because it's all submerged in water. But even when a nuclear reactor is off, you still have to keep it cool, because you can never. It's really hard to fully moderate radioactive decay. Yeah, it's really hard to fully moderate that. Now, what do I mean? Well, if I had a ball of uranium in my hand right now and a Geiger counter next to it, it would make that tick noise, that noise that sounds like someone going. What that tick noise is measuring is neutron flux. That's what a Geiger counter measures. So even when it's just kind of sitting there doing nothing, it's still gonna naturally shoot out neutrons, and you might not be able to get at all of them. Some of them might be able to get through. And remember, neutron flux, the more neutron flux, the more heat you generate, right? So even when the reactor's off, you still have to run the coolant loop. You still have to keep the coolant loops going. Now, that's usually done by on-site backup generators. So it's about as likely for a nuclear power plant to not have electricity as it is likely for a hospital to not have electricity. There's backups, and there's backups to the backups because of Chernobyl. That's what they were trying to test with that RBMK reactor, which brings me to the next thing, what's called a negative void coefficient. What does that mean? So a negative void coefficient means that if you quickly shut down a nuclear reactor, that it generates less power over time. With the Chernobyl reactor, and this is what everybody knows from the stupid freaking from the HBO miniseries, a graphite tip reactor actually exacerbates it. So if you try to shut it down quickly, it's going to generate, the flux actually goes up, positive void coefficient instead of negative void coefficient. No reactor operating nowadays has a negative void coefficient, and once again, that's what they learned. That's what they learned at Chernobyl. Basically, Chernobyl, they tried to see how quickly they could spin the backup generators up in the event of a coolant failure. So they already took all the damn coolant out of the stupid system, and then they tried to keep it running. And they had the nuclear reactor going like full bore, and then they tried to turn on the generators when the thing boiled off all the damn coolant. Right? So when they aborted, the generators turned on and started pumping coolant into a reactor that was like hotter than the surface of the sun. Yeah. And that generated too much steam too quickly, and the thing freaking exploded. Because when they tried to shut it off, they were generating insane amounts of heat because of a graphite tip fuel rod. You don't put a moderator on your fuel rod. That can make things worse. So that negative void coefficient is the big one. That's the big thing. Basically, if you shut it off, it generates less power. In nuclear physics, that's not always the case. And once again, that's what they learned at Chernobyl. Yeah, if you run a nuclear reactor bone dry out of coolant and then try to shut it off and then try to hit it with coolant really quickly, yeah, of course it's going to explode. Most nuclear reactors would do that. Most of them do that regardless, like what happened at Fukushima when the backup generators went offline. Oops. No. Nuclear reactors are super safe, man. They're really super safe because of stuff like this. So basically, King, because it has a positive void or a negative void coefficient, they can shut down the reactor quickly and not have to worry about it exploding. Yeah, who knew? And also, as long as the backup generators, which are on site, you can't cut the power to a nuclear power plant. Most power plants have backup generators. As long as the backup generators stay okay, and they're usually like in the ground, like like a hospital has its generators in the basement, right? There's a very good reason for that. So they don't get messed up if there's like a storm or a hurricane or something. Even Fukushima's, the backup generators are in the basement. And the basement flooded and broke them, and that was a problem. But I don't think we have to worry about that here, unless the Dnieper River is going to overflow into the nuclear reactor, which that's probably not happening unless like a tsunami comes up the Dnieper River, in which case you probably have worse things to worry about. So yeah, that as long as the backup generators stay online, they'll be fine. It'll be all right. Yeah, most nuclear reactors, yeah, can initiate an emergency shutdown and don't have to worry about blowing up because of said design, because of what they learned from Chernobyl. Yeah, exactly, PY. That's why we're talking about it. Yeah, that's what I mean about Chernobyl. Everybody says, "Oh my God, it has a design flaw." No, it doesn't have a design flaw. There were safeties put into the system on purpose to make sure that this didn't happen, and somebody just took all the safeties off. It's not a design flaw. It's Murphy's Law. Well, Ferk, yeah, Fukushima, I don't know. But Fukushima is a very good design. Dude, that thing, think about this for a second. The design is that good that thing literally went like a couple of weeks. Well, not a couple of weeks. It went a good couple of days. A nuclear reactor went a good couple of days without being cooled. If you don't cool the nuclear reactor, it'll just melt. It just melts. It just generates too much heat and it melts. That's what a meltdown is. Now, these pressurized reactors, because they're submerged in water, are in a giant shell. It's a big pill-shaped shell. It's the containment vessel, and it's usually made out of concrete, and that prevents meltdown. Yeah, if it does melt down, it stays inside, which is what happened to one of the Fukushima reactors. One of them just stayed in. Yeah, it melted down, but it contained. You won't get an elephant's foot like what you got at Chernobyl. So, yeah, honestly, King, wouldn't be too worried about it. The news will probably make you worry about it, but yeah, it's not... Yeah, you don't... Here, let me look at that fuel rod assembly. Once again, I'm not a nuclear physicist, guys. This is just what I've read. Let's take a look. So, okay. Yep, there's your graphite moderator right there. And your control rods. So this is an exploded, not a good word for that. This is an exploded view of it, an exploded diagram. Your control rods and your fuel rod assemblies are up here. And they're usually parked inside of the moderator, and then they pull them out. And note, the spot where they pull them out is where the coolant loop is. See that? But see how the coolant loop also goes down and around the graphite core? There's a reason for that. You got to keep the coolant flowing. It doesn't matter if a nuke is off. It has to because of radioactive decay. You have to. So yeah, as long as the backup coolant loops are working, it should be fine, dude. And you don't need a lot of power to do it. You really don't. That's by design. You do not need a big, ridiculous diesel generator to get this thing to work correctly. To get this thing to cool correctly, I should say. To get this thing to cool correctly when it's off. That's incorporated into the design on purpose. You didn't think they wouldn't have thought of that? Especially after Chernobyl, especially in that part of the world? Yeah, no. You could literally like plug a truck into this thing and run the engine, and that should be enough. Yeah, like they made it so you could, as long as you can get it power, it doesn't matter how much, it doesn't matter from where, well, it doesn't matter how much because it's electrical engineering, but yeah, as long as the diesel gens are fine, you're okay. And even then, even if those break, it's still going to take a while for it to melt. Enough time for someone to be like, yep, we got to stop what we're doing and fix this immediately. I got to Turkey Point nuke, and it was the most scared and awestruck at the same time I've ever been. Nuclear power is awesome. It's really freaking cool, man. It's really cool. Yeah, hopefully that helped. You remember the video of the F-4 just disintegrating into its wingtips? Yeah, they were shooting it at a nuclear containment vessel. Yeah, nuclear fuel canister. You taking the night off after space news? I don't know. We still gotta watch Starship footage, man. We got stuff to do. Is this car for real? I've never heard of that, Flykin, but then again, that's GM. I don't know. Watching a video with another stream the other day about something called the elephant's foot. Yeah, spaceflight. The elephant's foot is the... So, when a nuclear reactor melts down, you can't moderate. There's only so much this graphite can bounce. If the nuclear material doesn't get cool, because water moderates the reaction, right? You can control how much the nuclear material fizzles, basically. It fizzles like a carbonated beverage almost. And just like if you take a carbonated beverage and you twist the cap on, right? It'll stop fizzing, and then if you open it, it fizzes again. Nuclear is kind of like that, but it's not. We're not talking carbonation. And also, don't drink uranium. Don't do that. That's bad. So, as long as you keep it cool, it'll stop fizzing. But if you don't keep it cool, it'll start fizzing out of control. It'll generate too much heat, and eventually the graphite will melt, and eventually the containment core will melt. And the elephant's foot is that cocktail of graphite and uranium and containment vessel that found its way into the plumbing. Yeah, and then dripped down to the basement of the reactor. That's what the elephant's foot is. Yeah, it's a cocktail of nuclear materials and nuclear reactor. Yeah, it's like graphite and uranium and all that other fun. Yeah, I wouldn't go near that. Yeah, no, don't go near that. That's not good for you. And once again, I'm not an expert on nuclear physics. I'm probably not the person to talk to about this. But yeah, and if anybody does know a little bit more about nuclear physics, that is a nuclear physicist or something, or an engineer, tell me if I got something wrong. The heat water waste is toxic. Well, Sun Temple, nuclear reactors have a closed loop cooling system. So this coolant water, the water that's heated up, okay? It heats up, it goes to because it comes out as steam, right? And then it goes into the steam turbine, and then it goes through a condenser, like an air conditioner almost. And that condenser usually comes in the form of a cooling tower or a condenser. You know, the big cooling towers, those big hourglass shaped things, that's the coolant loop. Now, another thing to note is that this loop right here is independent of that cooling tower. Okay? You have coolant water, and then you have the water you're using to make steam. So this stuff, when it turns to steam, it goes and turns the... I said that wrong. When this water... Rewind a second. This water turns to steam, it turns the turbine, and then it goes through a condenser. The condenser turns it back into water, and then it gets pumped into the reactor again. That's on a closed loop system. That condenser is the one that's connected into the cooling tower. You have a coolant loop for the reactor that's designed to cool the reactor and generate steam, and that's connected to another cooling loop that's connected to the coolant tower. Yeah, so no radioactive water isn't getting or radioactive vapor isn't getting pumped into the atmosphere. Yeah, heat exchanger. Yeah, basically the cooling tower is on its own loop. And this is part of the reason, you know, a lot of people said, like, oh, why does Fukushima in a spot where it can be near a tsunami? That's really stupid. You need water to cool a nuke. Or a lot of air conditioners. Either one. You need a lot of air conditioners. Or water. Water is probably better because there's a lot of it on this planet. You can use salt water in the coolant loop, that's fine. That's why they build nukes next to oceans. Because they need water to stay cool, or else they melt. That's why it works so well on ships and submarines, yep. Nice, Hired. Gatorade's better. I don't think Gatorade would make a good nuclear coolant. It has sugar in it. Yeah, that would probably end well, but also the water boy. Yeah, that's why, a lot of, everyone's like, oh, that's so stupid that they built it in a spot that's prone to tidal waves. Well, you have to, because nukes, and also, you can't just build nukes wherever you want. There's this thing called the inverse squared law. Basically, electrical signals over long distances, because there's more resistance, they don't work as well over long distance. Now, three-phase AC kind of overcomes that problem, but even three-phase AC doesn't go very far. Like, I can't have a nuclear reactor in New York powering Los Angeles. It doesn't work that way. Because thermodynamics, once again, big pain in the butt. You're never going to put in what you get out. Ever. Even with a nuke. That's why nuclear reactors have waste material. Yeah, so, King, as long as the backup generators do their thing, which, I mean, you can shut down nuclear reactors quick because of Chernobyl and not have to worry about the thing exploding. Yeah, I'm not worried. It'll be fine. But once again, if I had to guess, King, the news is probably going to be like Russian forces are taking the nuclear power plant. Who knows what they're going to do? They could blow it up. It could explode. They'll probably do stuff like that. And that waste turns out to be its Achilles heel. Yeah. don't know, Ebsta. I'd rather have nuclear waste than carbon pollution. Atmospheric carbon pollution, but... yeah, I don't know. So the waste is the rod? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, Sun Temple... I talked about neutron flux, and I talked about radioactive half-life, okay? So, remember, because the atoms in radioactive material are shooting neutrons out all the time, eventually they run out of neutrons, okay? Eventually, they'll run out of neutrons to shoot out. And because a neutron is being removed from an atom, you're changing it. You're changing the physical composition you're changing the atomic makeup, right? So eventually you'll run out of neutrons, and that kind of happens. It gets worse and worse over time. Basically, it's like a battery, you know. You ever have a battery like in a remote control car, right? And it's at first it's really, really good. Your car's zipping around all over the place, and then, you know, as the battery starts to get worse, you know, starts to lose more and more power, it gets slower and slower and slower until it stops. Kind of like that. So basically, when they get to the point where the nuclear material can't provide enough flux to keep the power planting, that's what the waste material is. Now, keep in mind that waste material is still radioactive. It hasn't gone completely through half-life. It hasn't completed that cycle. It's just not powerful enough to power the nuke. And never mind, Chernobyl had an entire city of people living and working there. I mean, Pripyat is like 2 miles away from the reactor. It's not like they were living next to the damn thing. I'm all for nuclear power, don't get me wrong. I just want to see more research into new generation reactors. Absolutely, Epstein. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, screw it, man. If ITER does its thing, we don't need to worry about any of this. Because turns out that merging two atoms together makes a metric crap ton more energy than splitting them. But that's really hard to do. Yeah. Are you stopping after space? I don't know. I'll think about it. Anyway, so let's check out the Starship footage. But yeah, King, good thing you got that in, because if I'd been watching the Starship footage, I would have said now. Hopefully that helped. And also, nuclear physics is really cool. It's really freaking cool. Yeah. Actually, I'd say one of the best things about that HBO Chernobyl miniseries is it got a bunch of people like really, really, really into nuclear physics. Ironically, like, yeah, Jack, I said wait until we have a shot of it from the side, and I saw the shot from the side, and I did not like what I saw. Yeah, it doesn't look good, man. But hey, it's replaceable, dude. It's replaceable. It's just a plane, guys. It's just a plane. It sucks, but it's also important to remember that there's a war going on and people are dying. I don't like it when people die, except if it's of old age. You know? You have a nuclear power plant being built in Wyoming. They're really, really cool, Hart. It's really interesting. Like, the fact that there's an atom out there that just literally throws neutrons at things because it can is really, really cool. That's naturally occurring. That's very strange, man. Nothing works like that. There's elements that don't work like that at all. But you know what the crazy part is? Is that there's radioactive isotopes of every single type of element. It's freaking weird, dude. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not weird. This is well-documented stuff. There's, like, radioactive hydrogen and radioactive helium. And radioactive, lead. Lead absorbs radiation. Yeah, salt. You can have radioactive salt. It's freaking cool, dude. It's crazy. Elements start getting really weird if you just take neutrons and electrons and protons and just take them out and put stuff in. Dude, nuclear reactors can turn lead into gold. With enough energy, you could turn goat piss into gasoline if you knew how many electrons to remove and add, electrons, protons, and neutrons to to change out. Seriously, you could synthesize gasoline, Star Trek style. Yeah, tea, Earl Grey, hot, gasoline, Earl Grey, cold. It's cool, man. It's really interesting stuff. Nukes can create gold. They literally, you like with a nuke, you put lead in and gold can come out. It's really, really cool. I mean, it's a little bit more complicated than that, please. But nuclear reactors can also generate all different types of gases too. They can make xenon gas. Really interesting. Jesus, the first nuclear physicist. That's right. Что? Что? Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, we're good. We're good, man. Mostly cesium-137 for clocks comes from power plants. Yeah, they make cesium. Yeah, they make all kinds of cool things. Things that probably aren't good for you, but yeah. There's like, yeah, and once again, there's like radioactive gold. It's really cool. Like, there's radioactive gold, there's radioactive iron, radioactive uranium. Like, uranium's just an ore like iron, but it, when you put the Geiger counter next to it, it goes. The alchemists of old just don't know how to express themselves. Yep. Remember, MSRs don't have the drawbacks of high-pressure reactors. Yeah, hellfish. Once again, I mean, if my spiel about nuclear physics doesn't put your mind at ease, I think the Russians, of all people, probably understand the consequences of leaving a nuclear reactor unattended. Okay? And if you want an even more case study into it, they took Chernobyl and it didn't explode. Okay? Which is arguably way more dangerous than a nuclear reactor that's just in the offline state. So, say there's radioactive plutonium? Yeah. But see, Baz, there's also, if I'm remembering right, and I don't know about this next part, so please take this with a grain of salt. I'm pretty sure there's non-radioactive versions of plutonium out there as well. There's certain isotopes that are non-radioactive. Ignore if you don't want to discuss, but there's footage of the A. Yeah, I saw it already, Canadian. Yeah, that's what led Space News today. Certain consequences, demo. This stuff takes time, like Half-Life. Wouldn't putting out a hydrolox fire with water just add more fuel to the fire? No. Because water has to go through phase change before it becomes something that can explode very nicely. Not necessarily non-radioactive, but there are isotopes of uranium that are less radioactive. U-238, for instance, is less radioactive than 235. Yep. Anyway, yeah, King, I don't think there's anything to be worried about. If there is, I'll let you know. But also, nuclear physics is dope. Yeah, we should talk more about that stuff. Nuclear power is cool. Really cool stuff. Like, think about it, guys. Like, if you have a rocket, right, with a NERVA stage, right? So you have the nuclear thermal rocket where you're using hydrogen as a coolant over a nuclear reactor to generate thrust. That's what a NERVA engine does. It is a nuclear reactor with, instead of an axial control rod mechanism, you have a radial control rod mechanism to control the rate of flux, right? Somewhere out there, there's a design floating around, I don't think anybody's thought of it, of a NERVA engine that has a byproduct that makes xenon gas. Now, nuclear reactors not automatically, certain designs generate xenon gas generally, right? It really depends. It depends on the design. It depends on what fuel you're using, right? But there's somewhere out there, there's got to be a design that generates xenon gas. Now, why am I so obsessed with the nuclear reactor generating xenon gas? You can use that for ion engines. So somewhere floating around You know, nobody's designed something like this yet. Somewhere floating around is a design for a spacecraft that has a nuclear reactor, possibly nuclear thermal propulsion, right? That has solar electric or just electric propulsion for reaction control systems, and a Nerva engine for propellant, for main thrust. Now think about that for a second. Guys, that's some Expanse stuff. It's not an Epstein drive, but it's pretty freaking good. That would be light years ahead of anything that we have. When you get nuclear power and satisfactory, you can kind of show some of it. Yeah, right on. Yeah, exactly, Alex. We'd have to find a design that's optimized to generate xenon isotopes. But yeah, that design doesn't exist. I'm not sure it's possible within the confines of physics, but also, spaceflight is all about scavenging what you can get. A saltwater open nuclear reactor throwing out plasma is more efficient and more powerful. Yeah. How about we just take a closed-loop nuclear reactor, dude? Closed-loop nuclear reactor with a Hall effect thruster behind it. Hall effect thrusters can scale. It's just about how much electricity you can generate. You generate more heat, generate way more electricity. Generate more electricity, you can create a Hall effect thruster that has more thrust than a desk fan. Super hasn't posted this here. The control building of that plane is getting shelled. Yeah. Hellfish. Automated systems. Automated backups, dude. You don't need the control plane to turn on the backup generators. I'm still not worried. Once again, the reason why nuclear reactors are so safe is because the understanding of how nuclear physics work, well, those rules and that understanding is very much written in blood. Yeah, and usually that teaches the best lessons. I was simply giving news. Yeah. So does CNN. They just simply give news. So does Fox. Just giving the news. Stop that, you doofus. You doofus. Really enjoying the chat, learning about stuff that I never thought was out there. Sancho, nuclear... I'll say it once, I'll say it again, man. Nuclear physics is cool. That's so cool. In another life, man. In another life, I'd do that. It's so awesome. You can... Dude, you see this rock right here? This is Tennessee River rock, right? You see this? If this was coal, you could make a campfire, okay? This is coal, you can make a campfire. If this volume was oil, you could maybe run a car for a couple of miles. All right? Or an electric car, or whatever, I don't know. If this was uranium, you could power a city. That's the energy density we're talking about here. A ball of uranium this big could power a small city for a long time. That's what we're talking about here. Why the do we mine for coal, and why do we drill for oil if something like that is available? Now, don't get me wrong. It is dangerous. It comes with risks. Would you rather screw the planet up? I mean, I don't know. I'll take the nuclear fuel, thank you very much. Hey, Sancho. Welcome to Mission Control. Your go at throttle up. Yeah, I know, Goalie. I discuss a very wide variety of topics. Interesting, Alex. That stuff's so freaking cool, dude. Something tells me this is the worst thing to get hit up. Here we go. Yeah, guys, once again, you don't need to worry about a fire outside of the thing, to be honest. If a fire's coming from inside of the reactor, you got a big problem. The fire is not going to be enough to breach the containment. No way. Like I said, they've thought of this. Someone put a great deal of thought into this. Do you think that during the Cold War, the U.S. and Russia would have nuclear reactors everywhere if they were... Well, then again, during a nuclear war, you're going to get radiation whether you like it or not, so... Coal equals dollars. Yeah. I'd much rather use coal to make steel. Just me, though. Oh. Yeah, look at this. Dude, we're talking like alchemy here. This is straight up freaking magic.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Look at this. Oh, that's so cool. Phil, 38-month resub. Yeah, look at that. Oh, that's, dude, that's so, look at that. Come on, that's freaking algorithm. That's like some wizard stuff right there. That's some wizard stuff right there. You gotta be kidding me. We're just talking about changing elements around. Oh, why don't we just take some electrons and put them over there? Like, okay. Why don't we just take Bikini Bottom and put it over there? Wizard stuff, it's just math. Yeah, I know. That's wizardry to some, Solar. I'm not wrong, am I? I'm not wrong. But the reason why I'm here is to make it not wizardry for those people, you know? And that's just 6 elements. The sheer number of elements of fishing that fishing can create is crazy. It's really cool, man. That's why we do what we do here, man. This stuff's dope. There's so much cool stuff out there. So much nerd stuff out there. I try to throw everything at the wall. Hopefully anybody that's watching it sticks somewhere and be, yo, you know what? I want to do that. That's cool. I don't care if it's talking about plumbing or freaking nuclear physics, which a nuclear reactor has a lot of plumbing, to be honest, and you need plumbers to operate a nuclear reactor correctly. Just thought I'd put that out there. And probably an electrician. Probably need a couple of them too. Yeah, that's right, Payne. It's cyclical, man. Cyclical. So somebody linked the Omega 1 engine. I don't know what that is. I'm going to have to read about that. Okay. Okay. Differential equations, anyone? Astro, I've dived into differential equations out of necessity to figure stuff out for the stream sometimes. No. Yeah, infrastructure's the best, Nuggets. Building stuff is great. Destroying stuff is Bush League, man. Any idiot can destroy something. It takes somebody using their noodle to create stuff, to create and engineer things. That's why I like engineering more. Differential equations is the work of the devil. They don't exist and they can't harm you. Are the differential equations in the room with you right now? Like, I say I will not go back to differential equations ever. Dude, yeah, boring. I've delved into it just a little bit and I'm like, nah. Oh, man. You know how I say I have to repeat stuff a lot to learn because I'm an idiot? Yeah. That would take a lot of repeating, dude. I'm not saying that I couldn't understand it eventually. That's gonna take a lot of repeating because your boy a little bit slow on the uptake there. Yeah, I know, Bran, right? Right? Freaking divs. Alright. So, let's see. Where are we for the NSF footage? So, about that alchemy, yeah. Crazy. It's crazy, Alex. Yeah, it's Braz, right? Alright, so did we watch... We watched the Booster 4 Cryoproof. I know we watched that. That was the last one that we watched yesterday, I think. Let's check this one out.
This video is sponsored by
Ian!
Brilliant.org.
This is coming from our guys over at NASA Space Flight.
Starship's Florida launch tower is starting to take shape at the Kennedy Space Center. But when will the tower begin to rise at 39A? That's one of the questions we'll tackle
Of course,
in this
Demo,
week's
right?
Florida Starship Update. Hey everyone, I'm Ian Atkinson with NASA Spaceflight, here with this week's Florida update on what's happening in and around the Kennedy Space Center and Cape Canaveral Space Force Station.
He said hi!
At SpaceX's Roberts Road facility, work is continuing on the expansion of the site, including where the new Starship construction yard will likely be located. One of the first things that's very clear from this week's flyover, and that indicates forward progress from last week, is the placement of the rusted feet upon which Starship's launch and catch tower segments will be built.
Yo. Dude.
These rusted feet, which were first seen in use at Boca Chica for the Starbase Facilities Tower, are not just used in construction and leveling of the individual tower segments, but also in transporting each tower segment to the ultimate location of the launch pad.
Yeah, sure, Solar.
The fact that these rusted feet have been moved to the square foundations discussed in last week's video indicates good progress on tower pre-assembly efforts. Next to the frames that will be used for the tower construction are steel beams, which are very similar to the crossbars used for the Starbase tower. The first pillar for the launch tower is also visible. These steel sections will be assembled on top of the rusted frames to construct the large tower sections we saw getting rolled out in Boca Chica. In Boca, the tower was made out of 9 segments, which were assembled step by step over the last year. Based on the parts already at the site, it seems that Florida's tower will be similar in design to Boca Chica's. In Boca Chica, it took only 3 months from the first section of the tower arriving
Where did that come
site
from?
To the last one getting stacked on top of the tower.
How did that...
Another visible change is the addition of ground pipes to the area of the tower construction.
Electrical
They
conduits.
end in 3 small squares at the edge of the tower assembly area.
Any electricians? Any electricians? Why are there 3? Who knows? I know the reason. Do you guys know? Alex, why would you have 3 separate lines? Well, actually, you probably can't answer that question because in Europe, 3-phase, baby. It's in, one's an industrial line. There's heavy industry and then there's just regular stuff. Yeah, see? So, like, one of these is... So, in the U.S., we have heavy power lines, like industrial power, and then we have regular, like, home use power. Home use is, like, 110, and then there's 240 or 220. So, like, in Europe, in Europe and most of the rest of the world, it's all one. Like, one plug does everything. We have 2 different types of plugs over here. I think it's hilarious, right? 3-phase is less interrupting. So, yes, 3-phase is better for industrial power. So you're gonna have more than one coming in, right? We have 3-phase. I know you have 3-phase. That's not what I said, you dingus. Only 2 types of plugs. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Alex, you wouldn't like that. Our electrical system is like metric versus imperial. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. I'll be honest with you. Go look it up. Yep. Yeah, it doesn't, dude. The electrical system too. Would you expect anything less? Yep. Back at it again. I'm telling you, dude. Yeah. So, if I'm remembering correctly, and I'm not an electrical engineer, I know one of those is for 3-phase, so one of them is for heavy power. And I'm not saying that Europeans don't have 3-phase. I'm saying you guys all have the same plug. We have different plugs. You can have a 240 volt single phase, and you could have 240 or 220 3-phase. And then you could have 110. You could have 110 single, or you can have 110 3-phase. There's like 5 different types of plugs, 2 different types of designs. I'm serious. It's really, nope, it doesn't make sense, but we use feet and miles, so whatever. So that's why there's 3, like, different electrical boxes there.
Similar structures were seen at Boca Chica's propellant...
110? What do you power with 110? My computer's plugged into 110 right now.
...production site.
Hey,
They
Vulcan.
likely provide electrical and data connections around the site. A further significant visual change from last week is the addition of a large white tank at the Roberts Road facility. While the exact purpose of this tank is unknown, it is most likely a water tank for the construction site at large. This is underlined by the fact that it doesn't seem double-walled or insulated at all.
We have the same system, but home appliances usually use a single phase. Yeah, but it's all the same plug, Alex, right? We have 2 different types of plugs for 2... Dude, I'm telling you, it's a freaking mess.
The tank is sitting on top of the gravel pad that was discussed in last week's video, next to the tower construction area.
Yeah, they built a water tower.
In contrast to previous water towers operated by SpaceX, we're not expecting a flight to 150 meters at this point in time.
Yes! Water towers can fly!
Next to the tower construction area, Hangar X's new expansion grows. The roof beams on the side expansion are now completely in place, compared to last week, with parts of the roof already getting installed. The main hangar expansion is also getting more work, with one side still being open. It's not clear exactly what this area will be used for yet. but it might just be additional office space and processing space. Furthermore, the parking lot near the front of the building is almost complete to make new space for the increased workforce that will work at the expanded facility. On the west side of Roberts Road, more work is being done at what is suspected to be the Starship factory. The previously seen pile driller with an auger attached is being used to drill holes, likely for piles for the future factory.
I'm looking to see if any of the footing is...
Going back to the Starship tower construction, when the segments are ready for stacking and integration, their permanent home will be none other than Historic Launch Complex 39A. This was the main launch site of the Saturn V moon rocket and of the Space Shuttle. It is also the current home to SpaceX's heavy lift missions on the Falcon Heavy, and the US's human orbital launches on SpaceX's Falcon 9.
Not everything is moving out
At
here.
the
Parallel
pad,
production
earthwork
cheap guy.
continues in preparation for tower segment stacking, as well as other additions that will be needed for an orbital launch
Yeah,
pad.
Zeppelin. I'm not the best at
Other
this,
items
so
critical
yeah.
to the new launch
I'm not
site
forgetting. I don't
beside
know.
Pad 39A include cross-country propellant oxidizer and purge lines, electrical and data runs, and connections to needed Kennedy Space Center systems for safety and quality assurance. The work is beginning to visually note the changing nature of 39A and its pending use as a dual rocket launch pad, given the dissimilarities between the Falcon and Starship systems, not the least being their size and the propellants they will use. One thing to watch for in the coming weeks is exactly what SpaceX will choose to do in terms of a flame deflector. While Elon has stated many times that no such element is devised for Starship operations, it will be interesting to see if SpaceX opts for a diverter in this case, given the proximity to 39A's
More than that,
existing
Rice.
structures
That's what an
and
apprentice,
launch mount. These
electrician's
structures are
apprentice
critical
makes, dude.
for crewed Falcon 9 missions and for the Falcon Heavy's upcoming Space Force missions. A flame diverter at 39A would help direct away exhaust from the pad and out toward the more natural areas that surround the US's historic trampoline to the stars. And of course, at 39A would help direct away exhaust from the pad and out toward the more natural areas that surround the US's historic trampoline to the stars.
Okay. Oh, by the way, I saw some tower segments today for the 39A Starship pad. That's Vulcan, yeah, no, at the beginning of the video, dude. Look. You telling me you saw more? I'd believe you. Ian. Trampoline to the stars. It's not a trampoline. Yeah, it's a broomstick now. Yeah. What are you doing? Why would you say that?
While Elon has stated many times that no such element is devised for Starship operations,
No, not construction staging bits, tower bits. Wait. Tower bits. You saw one of these? Components for one of those. Okay.
So in transporting each tower segment...
Look. Look right there. That thing. You saw one of those, right? Not the jigs. Not the jigs. This thing. Yeah, nice. Yeah. This is going very fast. There was not a water tower there a couple of days ago. Yeah, that just kind of popped up out of nowhere. I told you, Elon wants the Cape ready by the end of the year. I agree. Yeah, judging by the rate of production that I'm seeing here, Goalie, yeah, this is going to happen very, very quickly. Those 8 of them, to be precise. It's all happening so fast, man. Do you think they could run into scheduling conflicts trying to put so many launches in 39A? Because it's so busy, Contra? No. I think they'll be fine. Yeah, see? One of these is industrial power, the other one's regular power, and the other one's like electrical and data or something. These two seem to be very similar. I'm not exactly sure what's what here, but I know you'd have different conduit boxes for different types of power. Imagine the progress you get when you relocate a chunk of people. Yeah, right. You saw a component for the launch table. I saw Matt's photo. Yeah. I forgot to share it with you guys. So Matoro, one of my streaming buddies, guys, longtime friend of mine, saw that floating around the Cape. This looks like SR-401 from what I can tell. What is that? That's a piece of the orbital launch plate. So not these things. The thing that's super heavy is sitting on right now. Let's just back it up a little bit. This thing. Down the bottom. You know, the big round thing. See if I can get a close-up of it. It's one of those segments right here. Actually, it's more like that. Yeah. So this starship pad's going to get built sooner rather than later. Let's go over here.
Gravitas, Octograbber. These structures are critical for crewed Falcon 9 missions and for the Falcon Heavy's upcoming Space Force missions.
Crazy, goalie.
A flame diverter at 39A would help direct away exhaust from the pad and out toward the more natural areas that surround the US's historic trampoline to the stars. And of course, most eyes will have noticed another change from last
Thanks,
week.
Arblast.
Say hello to Falcon 9 B1060, which was getting ready for the Starlink 4-9 mission. This Starlink launch will be the booster's 11th flight.
Yeah, that flew
Over
this
at
morning,
Port Canaveral,
fellas.
B1058 is still vertical after its 11th flight to space in the Starlink 4-8 mission. As you can see, the legs are already folded up to prepare it for transport back to the hangar for refurbishment ahead of its 12th flight. In the background, you can also see a fairing. It is unclear if that is from the same mission.
And landing legs over there on the left.
On the ship A Shortfall of Gravitas, Octograbber is being worked on.
Yeah, it was a good
In
launch.
case you've never seen it so far, Octograbber is a heavy structure that is used to secure and hold down the booster on the drone ship after it touches down, so that the booster does not tip or fall into the ocean. At Blue Origin's facility, the 2-cat building is growing, compared to our flyover last week, in which we reported that the first level seemed to be completed. The first segment of the second level was recently added. The 2-cat will be used for cleaning and testing of the second stage of New Glen.
Nice.
In front of the building, there are more parts for future construction, which indicates fast progress over the coming weeks on this structure.
Missed it.
Next
Missed
to the
what?
2-cat,
Missed
a
what?
new form for a foundation has popped up. It was already visible in our last flyover, but we thought we should point it out now. It is not clear
Legos
how
to
this
the
will
stars.
be used and what this building
What does that
will be.
mean?
However, this is another indication of all the infrastructure work
believe
Blue
it, Neo.
Origin is doing right now to prepare the Cape and their facility for the assembly and operation of New Glen. Their main campus has shown no significant changes compared to last week. Over at Launch Complex 36, no change was visible compared to last week. This complex will host the massive New Glen rocket built by Blue. This video was sponsored by Brilliant.
They had a lot to say about that. Cool. All right. Well, that was the NSF video for the day, guys. Yeah. Fun. Also, I couldn't get pictures, unfortunately, but the Flight 1 core stage was spotted in the main hall when the hangar doors were briefly open. The Flight 1 core stage was spotted in the main hall for New Glen. Neat. Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it should be happening soon, dude. Okay. All right, fellas. I think that's all I have for you today. Good conversations. Learned something about nuclear physics, I hope. Yeah, we got through most of the space news. You guys always do me a solid when I say there's not much space news. People always end up asking really nice questions, and we talk about some pretty cool stuff. Wait, did we talk about Nerva without me? No, Vulcan. I don't think I can put this any blunter. There's a nuclear power plant in the south of Ukraine that's being fought over right now, and it's on fire. So I decided to use that to teach people about nuclear physics and how Nerva engines work. Yep. Yeah, oh yeah, that one. Yeah, right? This is fine. This is fine. So you did talk about Nerva without you. Beryllium moderated radial control rods. Big, meaty claws! You want a little bit of this, old man? Wait, it's on fire now? It's doing something, Joe. Not great, not terrible. Stop it. One last for the road. One last for the road. The 3 disintegration paths mostly found in nuclear reactors. Okay, I kind of want to see this. Yeah, we were talking about how nuclear materials can just become other materials if they decay long enough. Oh, dude, what the frick? Like, look, you can make all kinds of stuff. Radon? Yeah, radon. Huh. Bismuth, polonium, lead. That's cool, man. Wait, mercury? Hg. Wait, no, gold. Yeah, no, mercury. Hg is mercury. Huh? Oh, we watched the Ghost T footage, dude. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's so cool. That's really cool, man. Oh, I wish I realized how cool that was like 15 years ago. That would have been really cool. I might not be just talking about it on Twitch. I might actually be doing it. Did I say that out loud? Nah, whatever. Anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for me. Hey, I would normally play a game right now, but honestly, we've been going 11 hours. I was up at like 8:30 this morning. And I've been streaming since the Falcon 9 launch, so I'm going to call it a little bit early tonight if you guys don't mind. Yeah, no, definitely been going a little bit long today. Yeah, screw that Twitch. Yeah, I know, right? Well, Rand, the other thing is that Twitch opened up doors that I never thought would be open in the first place, so, you know, it kind of worked out. It's funny how I gravitated back to being a nerd, even though I decided to not go that route when I was young. It just kind of, I didn't choose the nerd life. Nerd life chose me, boy. Let's see who is out and about. You're wearing a strange shirt to say that. Oh yeah. All right. Geradra's working on, speaking of gold and speaking of elements, Geradra's working on his Minecraft save. Let's go see what he's up to. Yeah, I'm gonna go eat something. All right, guys, have a good night. I will see you guys all at noon tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, so I'm gonna play more Railroad Online. I'm gonna play more Railroads Online. Is that okay? Is that okay? Yeah. I'm gonna play more Railroads Online tomorrow, and then we got Space News again, and then we got racing. Long race tomorrow. So, I like trains. I don't know if you guys knew that. No, it hasn't crashed on me once. Damn it, Penta. Alright, so go see what Geradra's up to, guys, and I will talk to you guys all tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good night. See last if you can. Okay, last thing.